Ready? Play.
All right, we'll do English and then switch to a few national language. Elena, well done on the result today. You're into your first semi-finals here in Stuttgart. Just talk about how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, really happy to be in semis, playing this tournament third time, and for now, happy to reach semis and hopefully can go far till the end.
Okay, first question.
Congrats, Elena. You know you can play a two-set match, right? You don't have to always play three.
Yeah, of course.
But in terms of getting these three-set wins, I mean, physically, having played two of them here in Stuttgart, are you feeling okay, like physically after them? Because I know obviously in Miami it was starting to compound.
Yeah, well, the preparation for Prix was quite short for me, but I mean, I'm feeling okay after these long matches. Of course, sore here and there, but no issues, which I'm happy with. And of course, it's nicer to finish matches in two sets, but I mean, opponent played really well today, and I had my chances, didn't take them, but overall I'm happy with the game, and hopefully I can just play better and better with time.
I just spoke with Jasmine, and she had a lot of praises for you, for your game and your serve especially. She said how tough it is to read it, especially from the due side of the court, especially going slide. Slice wide. I wonder if you have any opinion on her, and if you saw any improvement from the last time you played against her.
Well, I would say that last time we played it was also tough, and here it's a bit different clay, but I think she's more aggressive, and maybe some moments she believes in herself more than it was before. It was some tight moments, and she played really well today, so I think she improved, of course. And for me, of course, I know that I have quite a heavy serve, but for example today in these important moments, maybe it didn't help me. I was either too passive or was out like this, so I feel like I'm missing a little bit, and it's just part of the work, and as I said, it just takes time to feel better and better on clay.
You were down and facing break points quite a lot of times today. Sometimes you were broken, but sometimes it was like 30-40. You hit a big serve, it was great, Jasmine couldn't do much with it, or you were in charge of the point. Do you find yourself kind of going into a special zone when you're serving maybe 30-40, you just focus that 1% more maybe? Yeah, that's how it seemed on the outside.
Yeah, of course, we're trying to focus on these important moments more, and as I said, I had chances, she played well, and then sometimes I'm too hard on myself. I'm like, I could have done better, but also she played well, so it's like not battle with each other, but it's not easy sometimes when you miss easy ball and like just kind of forget.
Ready? Play.
Hello guys, Iga Swiatek, Elena Rybakina kinda doesn't get bigger than this. I mean, to me, these have been the best two players of the season. I know Sabalenka won the Australian Open, and she clearly deserves to be mentioned in that conversation as well. But in terms of just like consistency, picking up wins left and right, yes, it's been Iga Swiatek and Elena Rybakina at the very top of women's tennis of the WTA Tour this year, and that's why this match is so exciting. I mean, it's kind of small final, the final before the final. We'll see about it. Of course, in the second one, in the second semi, we have Marketa Vondroušová and Marta Kostyuk. Rybakina starting on serve and already falling behind 15-30. They've played so far this year once in Doha. It was a very high quality encounter, 7-6, 6-2, where it really could have gone both ways. Rybakina was up in the opening set. Swiatek pulls off the comeback, and after that, things kind of fall apart for the Kazakh, but it wasn't like she was just easily blown away. Is that a better court profile for her than the one in Doha? Tough to say. I mean, Doha was like such a very spin friendly and very slow hard court. Here we have a slicker clay surface. Tough to say which one is better for Rybakina. Definitely both are sort of in terms of, a little more in terms of like the comfort level for Iga. Last year, she actually lost to Rybakina all 3 times though, right? So it's not a matchup that she feels comfortable at. 2 breakpoints here, by the way. Not much control on this Swiatek forehand, but she manages to get it just on the line. Lots of spin on it too, so somehow the ball rolls into the court. First one is saved by the Rybakina serve, and that delivery will today be definitely very crucial in terms of her chances of winning the match. It's kind of the thing that separates her from Iga the most. On top of that, she's got that very aggressive returning style, which we know that for against Swiatek is kind of a requirement if you want to beat her. And at the same time, she also has the flat hitting from both wings with a lot of power, super clean, kind of like, for her height, she's still a very decent mover. I do think that if we're talking about like players on the WTA Tour right now, Rybakina would probably be in the top 5 toughest stylistically for Swiatek, which of course, considering also how much quality she has in general, that really makes her a very tough proposition for Iga. Currently, even Rybakina leads the head-to-head, right? 3-2. Ostrava 2021 was 1 win for Swiatek, the one in Doha I just mentioned, and the 3 ones last year maybe I'll talk about in a second, because now we have another breakpoint. She saved 2, and now Iga steps into her second serve return cross-court, gets another opportunity. She is on it early. She's hitting with a lot of depth, and she finds the backhand winner, kind of like inside out as well. She really dominated Rybakina in this game for the most part. Like that depth on the last point, 2 shots that just basically landed at Elena's feet. They didn't give her. They didn't give her like any opportunity to attack, any leeway for that to to take over the point maybe. So it's an early break for Iga Swiatek, who so far this week has been looking rather, I would say, average, like a C-level game. She defeated Alice Mertens, she defeated Emma Raducanu, she's lost a lot of games. She's still unbeaten at this venue, 10-0, although especially Ludmila Samsonova in 2022 managed to push her. But I'm not really looking at the Mertens or Raducanu performances as any indicator, because this is just such a different matchup, and one where the dynamics of play will be a lot more topsy-turvy and a lot more of a battle between the 2 players in terms of who gets to dictate, who gets to have the first strike, which was clearly not the case with Raducanu Swiatek or Mertens Swiatek. In fact, Raducanu would like to probably make it that, but the weight of shot coming from Iga's racket was a little much. I mean, so far in the first game, she was also really dominant here. So let's see how that actually progresses. In terms of Rybakina, she's also played 2 matches, of course. Top 4 seeds get buys in Stuttgart, and the 2 matches that she won were against Weronika Kudermetova and Jasmine Paolini. Not easy. Both 3 setters. Both definitely had their moments of... I just stopped because that's a phenomenal point for Rybakina, recovering from that deep forehand corner and hitting a great flat shot down the line before adding that dropper at the end as well. It seemed like one of these points where like Swiatek's insane movement might just get it done for her. But Rybakina is pretty smart about that last choice. What was I talking about? Yeah, Rybakina playing Paolini, Kudermetova. These were tough matches. These were really tough matches. And obviously she wasn't, super clean. But that's kind of what she's been doing this year. 26-4 or something, I think, or something like that is her win-loss record. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Iga with 1 less loss. But Rybakina has been kind of dominating this WTA 500 category in that she won Brisbane and she won Abu Dhabi. Now she's also in the semis of Stuttgart. Historically, this hasn't been the best event for Rybakina. 2022, she lost to Paula Badosa. A very tight match though, and last year she retired to Beatriz Haddad Maia at the very same stage. So this time was the first time first edition when she was among the top 4 seeds. She got a bye, so she started from that second round where she lost the previous 2 editions, and of course managed to make it in the semis. We still, until yesterday, we still had chances for a full-on, top 4 in the world semi-final lineup in Stuttgart. Of course, that didn't come to be because Arina Sabalenka lost to Marketa Vondroušová and Coco Gauff lost to Marta Kostyuk. But at least in the top half, the seeds indeed held, and the seeds are still there, trying to pull it off, trying to make it to the final. That first point from Rybakina was definitely quite promising, but now a couple of unforced errors from her. It's kind of interesting how it's on return that both players have been more aggressive so far than on serve. For Swiatek, that might actually hold up for most of the match in terms of the second serve returning for sure. For Rybakina, we'll see, depending on the quality of both of their deliveries, I guess. Of course, for Iga, this is going to be a pretty important part of the season. She is defending a final in Madrid, as a quarterfinal in Rome, a title here and a title at Roland Garros. Slightly less so for Rybakina, but I mean, she also won Rome last year, so it's not like she can just sort of go about it and, just play super freely. I mean, she also has some results that she has to uphold, but I guess her ranking situation, like throughout the year, is like kind of solid, right? Like she's dropping some points left, but not like left and right, and pretty consistently, let's say. So she's got quite a lot of potential cushions to fall back on. For Swiatek, of course, it's kind of like everyone expects her to have a phenomenal clay season. Everyone expects her to win Roland Garros. And now we're just starting that part of the year with her once again in Stuttgart, trying to go for her 3rd title in a row. Also going for his 3rd title in a row this week, of course, is Holger Rune in Munich. They actually have pretty similar records. Rune has one more win in Munich because one year he was not a top 4 seed. Swiatek was a top 4 seed in both editions. She won in Stuttgart, but they are both unbeaten at these German events. Horrible weather at both of them, but we're not going to see it in Stuttgart since it's indoors. And I think both events also offer cars to their winners, although I'm not sure about that BMW in Munich. Definitely they do in Stuttgart, of course. Not sure what Rybakina is driving, but Swiatek already won 2 Porsches, so likely one of these. Alejandro in the chat definitely wants that Porsche, it seems. Well, Rybakina has to start getting something going pretty soon here, because if the next game also goes away from her this quickly, right? That's the moment when, like, you've started slow. Last time they played in Doha, it was definitely the other way around. It was Rybakina dominating a little at first. I think she was like 4-2 up in that first set, and then eventually made it back. She won the tiebreak as well. Did Rybakina miss it? I think so. Again, the return is pretty high quality, and she's pushed a little backwards. She tries to add a bit more loop to that forehand down the line, but it's just behind the baseline actually. So Swiatek really close to a properly awesome start here. But here's an ace from Rybakina, already 2 of them. I don't know if she can maintain that sort of accuracy on her delivery, one ace per game, but that's definitely a part of what she can do in this match to be competitive and potentially win. In Doha, when we had that final between them, it was kind of like Swiatek maintained her status as the woman to beat on slower hard courts. Here we can kind of say that, on like slightly faster clay, she can kind of maintain her status, I suppose. Last year in Stuttgart, she won. In Madrid, she lost to Arina Sabalenka. So the loss to Sabalenka, of course, maybe is a bit of a stain, but well, this year it seems like Arina, to even get to the final, will need to do something not special, but well, after the Australian Open, it would be something new for her to win a few matches in a row. Let's just say that. Great point for Rybakina here, but she follows it up with a double fault, getting us to deuce. I liked her composure on the previous rally, though. That finish didn't need to be clinical, but she definitely made it look easy. Lots of Polish fans in Stuttgart, not too close to the border, actually, but they still went to watch. Most of the tour events in Germany, of course, are more on the western side. Munich probably being the exception. Hamburg as well. Hamburg is like middle. Munich is definitely closer to the east, but even then, it's not close to the Polish border, actually. Maybe if there was one in Dresden or in Berlin. Oh, yeah, there's Berlin as well. That one is very close to the Polish border for sure. And there's a couple of halles in Germany. We gotta, you gotta check which one you're going to if you're going there. But the event is held in the one on the western side of the country. Swiatek missing that forehand down the line here, just narrowly, a bit wide, and Rybakina gets another game point. Would love to get herself on the board. Will she be able to do it? Has Swiatek a little on the back foot here, and Iga will not be able to parry the power going at her forehand corner here. I mean, it was a fine attempt on the slide, but both top 12 in the rankings, yes. Worried about Rybakina today. Iga in top form, so motivated to out rivals in their place. Rybakina also not exactly winning her matches convincingly. I would be a little surprised if Rybakina got destroyed, although after the first 3 games, yes, that possibility kinda exists. I can't lie that it doesn't. I think that, she's probably gonna be okay in the long run, but we'll see. Okay, sorry. My internet today seems to be really poor. I'm not sure what's happening, actually. Maybe if I restarted my phone, but I'm not going to do that now anyway, since that would take me out for like 2 minutes. Keen, I'm not. I mean, of course, he's going to be in the top 100 at some point of his career. But should I be happy about it, I still don't think he's a special ball striker. I just think he has a cannon serve. And one of the worst shots in the game as well to follow it up, that backhand. So I'm not really sure what I would get, in terms of enjoyment from watching his games. I obviously give him credit where it's due, but in many ways he's kind of like a better Chris Eubanks, just a better athlete, and likely a better ground baseliner as well in the future. There's actually, I think there's actually not one single thing that Chris Eubanks does better than Giovanni Pericard. But yeah, their athleticism is definitely a huge deal. Let's see. Swiatek serving at 2-1. Rybakina, well, at least she's got a game now. Matthew is afraid of her being destroyed. Let's see if that becomes a possibility. I know she hasn't been winning her matches convincingly, and yeah, but that's kind of been her year, right? I mean, she's got an insane win-loss record, despite maybe not every time being super clean in these performances. But she's ice cold. She's got insane composure, and as long as she can keep playing points like this, I mean, the one for love 30 now, astonishing. Especially the switch up here from cross-court forehand to down the line, just perfect technique, goes forward, nice put away with the volley too, just doesn't make it tough for herself, chooses the safe option. And she's love 30 down as a reward. I mean, love 30 up as a reward. Gets a deep return here. This is a big chance, and she will get to 3 breakpoints, pushing Iga White to the forehand corner and getting an error. So that's always kind of a possibility on a slicker court like this, I think, especially if you're hitting as flat as Rybakina does. They haven't really played in conditions like this. Swiatek won in Ostrava indoors, of course. Last year it was Indian Wells, but there was that rib injury for Iga. There was Rome when she also retired while being in control of the match before getting injured. And they played at the Australian Open where Iga did not have a shot. She just couldn't beat Rybakina on a court like that, at least that year. Well, if they played this year, probably she also wouldn't win, but although both players went out early. But anyway, we are at 2 games all indeed. Just a +1 error from Iga was not that much pressure on her, but also it's not like she had a free will in terms of just pulling the trigger here or anything like that. It was actually a very, very nice return game from Rybakina all round. So 2 games all. She has recovered from that early break. And let's see. Let's keep going. I remember last year thinking that Sabalenka has a very good shot in Stuttgart in the final. Then Iga outplayed her completely. And then in Madrid, I thought that, okay, so if she outplayed her like this in Stuttgart, she's probably going to win in Madrid too. And then she lost to her. But both matches were very excellent. And I think, in a way, Rybakina can serve as a very similar matchup in faster clay conditions to Sabalenka. As I said, we haven't really had them playing like this on a court like this. I mean, last year they actually played in very slow conditions 3 times. 2 times, sorry, not at the Australian Open. But on clay, just 1 match in Rome where Iga was ahead, but then got injured and didn't want to risk ahead of the French Open, which was actually, as it turns out, it was a great choice because obviously she indeed was healthy for the French and she won it. Where she also could have played Rybakina, I think, in the semis, but Elena didn't make it that far. They've been running into each other in the draws a lot, but not exactly that often in the actual matches. Once again, the second serve from Rybakina, and Swiatek is quick to pounce, backhand down the line, return winner. Very close to putting Walton. Relatively close. I mean, I think if he gets there, it's pretty clear that he's done it through smarter scheduling and, results in events that weren't that good. Because, for example, this Acapulco draw, I mean, for a 125 is rough. But so is Oeiras this week. The opportunities are there for the players. But also he won. He made the final in Pune. He won Bernie, right? So I think it's pretty clear that he hasn't done that much to deserve it more than maybe some other players who are still out. However, of course, he deserves a lot of credit for it. I think I was pretty close, but some of the performances he had at the tail end of last year, especially when he was playing against these higher quality opponents, they kind of told me, okay, he might not have what it takes to hang at tour level, which I still don't know if he does. I mean, we still haven't seen it really. But but he definitely has proven that in these weaker challenger fields, he is able to dominate. And he won't break the top 100 if he wins Acapulco, but he would be very, very close. Sorry, guys, my internet is really awful today for whatever reason. In the meantime, 2 breakpoints for Swiatek, but she misses that final forehand, really. That was quite a massive opportunity for her. But still one more chance, especially as Rybakina is now throwing her second serve in. So there's probably going to be a big attempt of Swiatek's racket to go aggressive. Yeah, it's there, but then she mishits the forehand on the next shot. Once again, the flatness of the Rybakina backhand going at her with quite a lot of piercing power is tough to handle. I've always been kind of surprised, to be honest, about that perfect record in Stuttgart for Swiatek. Of course, it's not an amazing sample yet. I mean, it's just 10 matches, right? Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure if it will even fix the problem. I remember it did once, but well, maybe. Good to see Simon Freund. Is he playing with Ingildsen? I guess he is, right? But yeah, the changeover is there, so let's do that 2-minute break and let's check it out.
One more thing from you, Francisca. Can you look at the camera, and I want you to say, I am Francisco Jorge, and I am a friend of the show. Can you try it?
I am Francisca Jorge, and I'm a friend. I'm a wait.
Go. It's okay.
I'm Francisca Jorge, and I'm a fan of the show.
One more time. Can you say, I'm a friend of the show?
Friend.
Like amigo.
Friend.
A friend. So, because we joke, we have players come on all the time, they have no idea, but after they've been on, we say, oh, Elena Rybakina is a friend of the show. She has no idea. But so if we get you to say, I am Francisca Jorge, or how you say your name, and
I am Francisca Jorge, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect. Thanks.
Right. I'm back. Hopefully it's with a bang. I can't tell you yet if it improved or not, but we'll see if I keep dropping out. Hopefully not. But yeah, that was quite a key game. I mean, I know so far they've had a number of breaks and a number of close games on serve, but I kind of would suspect that at some point during this match we might run into, in these conditions, we might run into a more prolonged streak of holds, streak of easier games on serve, but who knows? We'll see. We'll have to wait for that. For now, Swiatek is actually low 30 down in her next game, so these 2 breakpoints, especially the first one, when she played a perfect point, set it up for herself very well, and just missed the final forehand. We might kind of remember it as a turning point. We'll see. Fantastic forehand here, though. You can really see the amount of quality, spin, power that is on it. And really gets Rybakina to stretch for it. Not much damage with the first serve, but the combinations after. Wow, what a recovery from Rybakina. I was not expecting her to still be in the point. And eventually it's Iga trying to pull the trigger back and down the line. She throws it out. So it's 2 breakpoints that she has to save herself right now. I think that's her dad, isn't it? Tomasz Wiktorowski, her coach, is obviously not in Stuttgart this week, which I think was also the case for the previous editions. First breakpoint has been saved. Rybakina not quite connecting with that forehand return. But it's definitely a thin line that Swiatek is balancing on at the moment, as that was kinda in Rybakina's hitting zone. There was that invitation to attack the return. And especially now that she's going to have the second serve on the second break point, that's an even bigger invitation. That's like someone saying, welcome to my house. Rybakina is quite willing to take that invitation. However, some fantastic footwork from Swiatek, and she's still in the point, sliding to everything here, but she eventually doesn't make the shot that seemingly was the easiest, seemingly was the one where she actually had some time on it. And Rybakina breaks. Well, nice jinx, Matthew, a few minutes ago. Because right now, the only player sort of in danger of being, I want to say destroyed, but being put away pretty easily in the first set is actually Swiatek. Four games in a row for Rybakina as well, worth remembering. And it's not like that first hold at love to down was easy. She also finds another ace. As I said earlier, keeping up that 1 ace per service game average would be pretty insane for her. Hi, Mister, whose username I'm afraid to read, but hello. Double fault. So ace double fault. Well, it gets her closer to the game, I suppose. It also gets Swiatek closer to a break. So it can be definitely can be read as something that goes both ways. In the meantime, also we had Marton Fucsovics already making it through to the semis in Bucharest. Sorry, to the final, of course, in Bucharest, I meant. And Rouen will start, the other WTA event will start their semis in, the other WTA Tour event this week will start their semis in 20 minutes. Quite a fun story that there's also a Pole in the semifinals there, Magdalena playing Angelina Kalinina. But for now, let's enjoy this one. I was writing up this preview for this match for a Polish website yesterday, and at the end I just said, just grab popcorn and expect just a ridiculous match, because that's kind of what you have to get with these two players, the best two of the year so far, especially the most consistent of the year so far, because Sabalenka won the bigger title, of course. And so far I think it's delivering. It's definitely been quite surprising as well to see Swiatek start that well and now go down to 4. 30-all point, pretty crucial here. Lovely forehand down the line from Rybakina, but it's not going to be easy for her to wrap this point up. Backhand drive, oh my god. I was really aggressive, and she manages to land it as well. I was really unsure what she was gonna do here. I mean, she had Iga on the back foot. She had Iga like turning around to hit that last shot. So it was clear that, probably Świątek will not come up with the best response, but she actually managed to like lob her over her head on the backhand side too. There were a billion options that Rybakina could have used. She went for a very aggressive one, landed it, and now she also gets the next point. So 5 games in a row for Elena Rybakina. Can she get the virtual bagel here? Or can Świątek start producing a comeback? Of course, on the ITP side, we've got plenty of matches at the same time. Basically, everything is at the same time this week because all the events are in Europe, right? Kasper Ruud 2 set points up on Thomas Martin Echeverry in Barcelona. Only one left actually now. Taylor Fritz has a break point to go up a set and a break on Christian Garin. And that's kind of it for now, as in Bucharest. Soon enough, they will also have Navon and Barrer joining the court. Navon already winning one match today, in fact, only one set of it, as he had to finish off his quarterfinal with France Rundolo. In Stuttgart, we also had earlier the doubles semi, was it? I think it was a semi, right? Let me check, actually. I don't want to mislead anyone. But we had Hao Qingchan and Weronika Kudermetova beating Bethany Matek-Sanz and Shuai Zhang. And they will play a pretty interesting pairing in the final. I mean, I don't think anyone was really expecting Ulrike Eikeri and Nel, this Estonian doubles player, which I wasn't really too familiar with either, Ingrid Nel, to make that final. But, well, they got a walkover from Krejcikova Zygmunt in the semifinals, earlier beating Erani Paolini and Potapova Zvonarieva. So they are indeed in the final, and they will be playing against also like a very good pairing in Kudermetova-Chan. So I don't know what their chances are. I would suspect they probably aren't rated that high, but maybe they can cap off this dream run that they've had here. Świątek back and the serving position 2-5. A great couple of forehands here. This one with more spin. Rybakina looping the ball back in, but it's too short to really cause Iga any trouble. 5 games in a row for Rybakina, so we know that Świątek would love to stop this. Some fantastic angle work from both women here already. Rybakina on the backhand return, then Świątek's response. Point is still going. Rybakina defending with a shorter slice, but that's just unbelievable as well from Iga. Even though the last ball was lower, just only barely above the net, she manages to hit this fantastic, more compact backhand cross. Think it's going to be a double fault, 30-15. Is that in part caused by Rybakina trying to line up for it? Maybe, although I don't think Elena was actually going to be this aggressive with her positioning here and try to smack it right away, although she definitely would have been pretty aggressive on it. From 30-15, it would be brutal if Świątek didn't pick up this game and sort of just, lost 6 in a row. Let's see if Rybakina can actually produce that. Trading backhands cross, Świątek switches to that inside out again and gets to the chance to play another one of these compact backhands at the net. This time she can't finish off the point, though. Rybakina tries to approach. It's a little bit optimistic, I would say, but maybe it was in a way also forced with the situation in the point. Swiatek producing enough angle on the backhand pass to for even someone like with such great reach as Rybakina not be able to make it. 40-15, big chance for Swiatek to grab a game after such a long time already. I mean, she was 2 games to love up in this set. Well, but even the first serve here, and again, it's like a little bit too conventionally into Rybakina's strike zone, I think. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was that 2-3 game where Rybakina had 2 breakpoints, and on the first one, she missed a return like this. But it didn't feel like it was earned by Iga, because it was just a little bit of a slider into Rybakina's forehand. And I think now Rybakina against the very same serve, she kind of shows why it's maybe not the best of ideas in the long run. So one more game point, of course, for Swiatek, and she will have to do it on a second serve here. Rybakina playing this very deep, more spin-heavy forehand at the cross court at the Swiatek forehand. I think Iga was trying to slam it, just flatten it out a little bit down the line. Just ends up netting it though. So 2 points away from the set now, Rybakina, and 2 points away from a virtual bagel. Which would definitely be a bit of a brutal result for, the Queen of Clay, the Queen of Stuttgart. As I said earlier, this maybe isn't the best clay for Swiatek in the world, but I mean, she's won this event twice in a row. She's won this event twice in a row, beating Arina Sabalenka in both finals. Has Rybakina... Oh my goodness, has Rybakina on the move here, Swiatek, but then she misses the forehand drive volley, and it's like, well, I don't even want to say what sort of distance, but it certainly was not close to the court. Set point up for Rybakina to pull off this turnaround, which, by the way, has included a lot of games where Swiatek had her opportunities too, right? The break points add to all this game. I think maybe there was that fourth game of the match as well, but no, fourth game of the match was a break to love, right? But the third game was close. But it's still 6 games in a row if she manages to do it here. And let's see how Rybakina lines up for this second serve return. Tries to go back and cross really hard, but then she nets it. But obviously, this is something she's gonna keep doing, right? It's not really a strategy that she should give up just because it doesn't work out once or twice. It's something she will keep doing, and it's something she will keep doing probably with decent success for the most part, just not on this very point. Iga looked very agitated, by the way, after that after that drive volley miss, and well, I can't blame her. It was definitely quite something to go a set point down in that way. Wow! And this time Rybakina gets on that deuce court. She gets a first serve at her backhand, slightly let's say backhand / body. And she's able to react to it very well. Once again, finding a return winner, right away of Swiatek's first serve. I don't think it was a faster serve either, but well, it's still quite impressive. The next point, though, Swiatek saves the second set point. Pretty short rally, just getting Rybakina on the stretch. And forcing that error with the first shot after the serve. But well, she's in major trouble here. Pretty close on that first serve, but likely out, I think, yes. Yeah, just tries to rush it. I don't know, it just kind of felt like a point where she was probably afraid of what Rybakina would do with the second serve. Then Rybakina actually didn't scare her that much. Like, there was not that much danger coming off it. And Swiatek, when she got a ball to attack, she was just very, I don't know, like tipsy. not tipsy, but like, yeah, just was a little bit nervy about it and went after it just even too much. Third set point, second serve once again. Rybakina, we know, is going to try to fire away. And I think she missed it. She probably has, yes. This time she got the opportunity to move around. Had to produce that forehand with a little bit more spin than usual. Like she couldn't just straight up hit it, top to bottom and just flatten it out so much. And it just landed out. So it's 3 set points saved by now by Iga Świątek, the world number 1. Most of them pretty easy. 2 unreturned serves and 1 +1 shot that forced the error. But on the deuce court, she's really struggling to win anything at the moment. This time the net court, well, it could have gone both ways, but it stays on her side of the net. So it's 4th set point for that virtual bagel in Rybakina's way. This time the first serve is pretty good. She doesn't get that much out of it though. I think Rybakina just missed this backhand though. So there's quite a lot of nerves from the players in this crucial game. I mean, it's 2-5. Rybakina probably will still win the set if she loses it. However, she's clearly like desperate to end it right here. She's actually showing quite a lot of anger after the time and time again missed set points. After the previous return on the third set point, Stefano Vukov, her coach, was like showing her, yeah, just play like this. It didn't work out, but you gotta keep trying. On this one, she was definitely quite frustrated too. A bit bitter about that, and I think she's gonna lose this backhand trade cross court. Now, sort of just saying, what am I doing? But again, I mean, it would just be 5-3 for Rybakina if she loses this game, but maybe it's a sign of respect as well for who's at the other side of the net, right? That she's kind of desperate to just end it all right here and not drag this set needlessly. It's kind of what happened to her in Doha, although of course that was not as big an example because there weren't many like set points. The lead wasn't that huge. And again, it's another baseline error from Rybakina. We could see how these flatter shots here like really penetrate the surface, but after that she just kind of overcooks it. And the forehand stays long. 5-3 Rybakina. Świątek stops the bleeding. She finally wins a game after 5 in a row, saving 4 set points. On a lot of them, just errors from Rybakina, not much else to add. And now it's that pretty crucial game where Elena will get a chance to serve for it. And a game which actually might put her in trouble if she's not able to clinch it. Serving for the set for the first time, Rybakina at 5-3. She'd love that 1 ace per game stat to keep holding up, right? We'll see if she gets there. Well, a couple of awesome forehands from Świątek here. One just deep enough to give her the timing advantage over Rybakina, and then the finish into the open space as well. Pretty brutal. It's a slicker court, but when the ball sits up for you like this, well, it's still very likely going to be a quick kill. Rybakina serving huge at the forehand here. Swiatek won't be able to produce that return. Looking at the ground as if complaining about the bounce a little bit maybe. Tough to say if it was really out of the ordinary or not. But it's another big serve directed at the Swiatek forehand here. She can't get there, like she can't stretch to it like this. 75% of points on her first serve by Rybakina. I think that's a little above her average for the year, but just like a tiny bit. Swiatek just 47, which of course is below her average for the year, needless to say. Rybakina trying to pull the trigger though, backhand down the line 30-all, and she once again is 2 points away from the set, but now we also have some real chances to break for Swiatek, as long as maybe Rybakina misses the first serves, or as long as maybe you guys able to produce that return. Will be interesting to see if Rybakina just keeps going at the forehand as well, as that seems to be giving her points now, unless she finds that T serve, which does seem to be a good strategy on the deuce court, I think. But she's not going to win the point. This is a big fail from Rybakina here, especially that volley. She had a lot of time. Swiatek was in the trenches. Yeah, here, that shot, I mean, the backhand volley, just nowhere near good enough. Swiatek is there, sliding into the backhand pass. She manages to get to break point. Massive reaction from her. And she'll get a chance to break back. And it all started with that really nice return, actually, considering what sort of serve was coming at Swiatek. But now it's Rybakina with one more big delivery. The one won't be parried by the word number one. So once again, deuce. Well, not once again deuce, but 30-all was kind of the similar, the same moment in this game. Yeah, that's just too clean. Big serve out wide on the deuce court, and then the forehand down the line, just classic combination. And it's going to be a 5th set point for Rybakina, but the big difference is this is the first one on her serve. Has she been the better player in the first set? I think it's pretty clear that she has. And once again, just like in anytime they play, it's that serve return dynamic that matters a great deal here. Like this has not been a match of long clay extended rallies or like spots where Iga can maybe start moving her around the court much. This court doesn't really allow it, really, like for the most part, right? It's a very serve return oriented clash, and that suits Rybakina, who wins the set as well. Backhand winner cross court, manages to get over the line here in this like sort of blow for blow trade with Swiatek. 6-3. Since going 2-love down, Rybakina has only lost one game. What parts of Poland are Iga and Hubert from? Iga is basically from Warsaw. She's from Russian. It's super close to Warsaw. Hurkacz is from Wrocław. It's southwest Poland. John actually, I know, lived there for a while, for like a month or something like that. Djokovic not playing Madrid, is that something new? I don't think I've seen it yet, so maybe it happened during this match. On the entry list, I just checked, it's still there, but it might not be updated, I suppose, if it's like a statement he pulled up in the meantime. Lexi hoping for a straight set win for Rybakina. I just hope for a competitive match, which I think for now has been competitive. Slightly. Let's say slightly. Because since 2 games to love, of course, Rybakina has won 6 and Swiatek has won 1. Also, Ruud and Echeverry actually went to a tiebreak after the 2 set points that Kasper had. That's pretty interesting, but Kasper still wins it. Hello, Brian. Munich and Bucharest doing 2 matches in a day. Yes, both Munich and Bucharest had to finish off 1 quarterfinal today. In terms of Struff Ožealiasim, it was 7-5-3-1 when they had to stop yesterday due to the weather and bad lighting. And in terms of Bucharest, it was 1-all when they had to stop. So Navone had to just win one more set against Cerundolo today. Not much harm, I think, done, because Struff only needed 6 games today to end his match, and Navone needed 1 set. So I think they're going to be fine physically for their semifinals. However, I think that especially Munich has to start thinking about this because, this is just not going to cut it. I mean, there's supposed to be a 500 event next year, and they're doing this very, they are scheduling all 4 quarterfinals on the main court, and they don't even go that long. But for some reason, they can't even finish off the 4th. Like, what the hell is that scheduling? Yesterday they had 4 quarterfinals scheduled on the main court. They didn't even go long, and they couldn't wrap up the 4th. If you don't have lighting, you just should have gotten them, one of these quarters on court 1. I mean, Bucharest is more explainable because it actually rained there yesterday, and of course they also were sort of, especially in terms of the top half, they were actually on double duty yesterday too. So, Bucharest is fine in terms of their scheduling. Who you got in Struff Rune? I mean, it's pretty hard to say. Both guys obviously massive success in Munich over the years. The fact that the conditions are colder this year probably helps Holger than Struff, right? But yeah, should be a good one. So did Echeverri also have any set points in that one? Let me check that. Did I say that? Hoping to end it all? Maybe, yeah. Maybe when I was talking about that desperation to really snap it, nip it in the bud, that comeback attempt from Swiatek. So Echeverri had a set point, okay, against Kasper. My internet quality has not improved for whatever reason, but we'll figure it out. Thankfully, these breaks are like 15 seconds usually, and they haven't been happening all that often. But it's not ideal. But sorry, guys. We gotta make it work. As well as Iga Świątek, if she wants to win this match, has gotta make it work against Rybakina, despite getting a little dominated the last 30 minutes or so. And what was that deal about Djokovic? Has he really pulled out of Madrid? I still haven't seen any statement from him, but I also wasn't checking, obviously. I don't see anything on his profile on Twitter, but maybe one of the accounts for the... Yeah, he withdrew from Madrid with a non-medical reason. So that means that we will have Djokovic playing just Rome and Roland Garros, right? Well, Rome is the better warm-up, as we discussed on one of the streams this week. But it's still a little weird to me. If you lose early in Rome, for example, are you gonna have the best prep for Roland Garros? We'll see. Maybe Djokovic loses early in Rome and then picks up a wildcard to Geneva or Lyon. That would be wild, but he kind of did that in 2021, didn't he? He played Belgrade just before Belgrade 2, because there were 2 Belgrades that year, and he played Belgrade 2 just before winning the French Open. So he's already shown it's possible. Anyway, Iga Świątek back on court. Iga Świątek about to serve so far a rough match for her. I can't even say a rough showing, to be honest. I mean, she's definitely been a bit like on edge in terms of her mental performance, but that only happened the last couple of games, when she was in trouble. And I think for the most part, it does come from Rybakina just outplaying her, especially in that serve return game. I mean, we have not seen any very long rallies, right? It's not a typical clay match, nor we expected it to be. Stuttgart rarely is like that, although I think especially when you're playing Rybakina, it's not going to be like that. Ooh, and that's a rough forehand as well. Love 30 down. She's really having a nightmare out there. So they showed Iga's fitness coach on my screen, and there's this graphic, Tomasz Wiktorowski, Iga Świątek coach. That's insane. Of course, that's not Iga Świątek's coach, but rather Maciej Ryszczuk. Did Iga play better yesterday? It's incomparable, I think, because it's such a different dynamic. And the same with the Mertens match. Like, they weren't any indicators of form. Because when you're playing Rybakina, you kinda will be scrambling more. You will be pressured. Oh, and now they make up for it. Now they showed Maciej Ryszczuk. Maybe someone there is actually listening to the Talking Tennis broadcast, right? And they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's that guy." Anyway, 2 breakpoints now as well as Rybakina cracks yet another flat backhand cross-court winner. And Iga has to be very cautious here. This snappy forehand counter is actually pretty good. Fritz into the finals. This would not only be his first Munich title, but this is actually his first clay court final as a whole on the ATP Tour. He was 0-6 in clay court semifinals. Vange gets some joy out of this probably because he always says that Taylor is so good on clay and top 5 ball striker, of course. Although I think he pointed out Monte Carlo as Fritz's best event rather than Munich. Which, of course, this year, well, he lost in the opening round, but he got a nightmare opening round against Musetti. One more breakpoint for Rybakina, of course. Świątek going back and down the line. Impressive that Rybakina even got to this shot, but it couldn't extend her life in this very point. Nurlan says that Rybakina has Iga's number. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about this at the beginning of the broadcast, but like any powerful flat hitter with a great serve return game, like kind of has a perfect, just a perfect style to trouble her. And when that player is also one of the best 4, 3, maybe 2 players in the world, well, that screams a bit of trouble. And Caroline Garcia has been on occasion able to punish Iga. Of course, Garcia is so much less consistent than Rybakina as well. Alexandrova has been an extremely tough matchup for Świątek, and that's like kind of exactly the same players, especially Alexandrova and Rybakina in a way. Like if Alexandrova could move as well as Rybakina and could serve as well as Rybakina, I think she probably could be just as good. Garcia, of course, a bit of a different playstyle with even more like forward movement and the ability to advance in the court, but against Iga they all kind of land in the same boat. But she gets the job done. She gets that first game despite 2 breakpoints already. There were a couple of very good forehands here, which she was hitting from like a crouching position, and they really helped her to weather down what Rybakina gave her with the return. Like Rybakina's returns were flat, deep down the middle, and Świątek just kind of snapped at them at these two forehands, and they actually got quite a lot of power and spin on them anyway. Stats of the first set. Of course, WTA statisticians are famously horrible at counting winners' unforced errors, but let's trust them this time that Rybakina went 13-13 and Świątek 10-14. 38-31 in terms of total points won. Slightly higher first serve percentage for Elena, which is definitely quite crucial for both women here. It's rough because Świątek thinks she's hit a great return, and in fact she has, but she still gets a quality response from Rybakina, who's been moving very well around this court tonight. Well, tonight. More like today. Of course, it's just 12 minutes past 3 in Stuttgart, and it's also 12 minutes past 3 where I am right now. The importance of that first serve kind of demonstrated by this point too. Just sets her up for such an easy cleanup. And it seems like Rybakina will cruise through her first service game here. I was not confident about the volley finish, to be honest. I think she just clipped the line with that forehand one there, but of course that's not something she will be thinking of that much. The point is over and she's won it. Getting a very high quality return in here, Świątek, but it's still 40-15 for Rybakina. She's kind of rushing it. She's kind of trying to close out this game as quickly as possible, though, and I'm not sure that's precisely the strategy to kind of overplay it like this. She wasn't in control, Elena, she wasn't in a good position to hit that big backhand. She kind of got lucky that it went in, but then on the next shot she does precisely the same. Just the setup was not good enough. And suddenly we are at 40-30 and a second serve as well. So we'll see if she gets to, she pays the price for these little mishaps. She will not, as she wins that next trade. Again, both players just kind of going blow for blow. And it's Świątek who cracks first on the forehand down the middle. So 1 all could have been a little smoother for Rybakina, but in the long run, of course, it does not matter. That's a moonball from Świątek, like a proper one. It gets her the point. Rybakina trying to accelerate through the forehand, but missing it. think Swiatek was trying to put a lot on that second serve, make it as tough as possible for Rybakina, but she will not make it. Kader Nuni going off his chair, but very quickly coming back up, I think. We've had a few shorter ball errors, put away errors from Swiatek here, but this time she stays clean, despite Rybakina extending this point maybe one more shot than you would have thought was possible. This time she won't be able to do that, trying to hit that forehand counter on the slide, but it's gonna sail long. So 40-15 for Swiatek, and looking pretty good to try to get another game here, stay on top, and potentially look for a crack from Rybakina. And yes, she will get that game. Rybakina sending that back and a bit wide, a bit of a slower service game, I would say, from both. Like in that, Rybakina wasn't pressuring Swiatek anymore, and Swiatek didn't have to do all that much. But it's kind of restoring that balance for her, I suppose, which Swiatek clearly will want right now, especially in terms of like avoiding what happened in the first set and that huge streak where Rybakina was winning everything. That's kind of the key for her at the moment, if you may. That's pretty funny that Nurlan has Volinet's ranking. Garcia cannot play. Does Iga ever mix up her court position? I mean, Iga doesn't mix up much at all, right? She's a bit of a robotic player these days. I don't think there's much to mix up here either. Like in terms of the returning, obviously she has to go after the Rybakina second serve, but on the first she's probably going to be behind, just in order to try to catch it. And when it comes to just like in the rallies, she's probably doing a fine job. I mean, you can't really allow Rybakina to start controlling every single point and try to scramble your way to the win, not on a court like this at least. Nurlan Unfiltered Tennis Podcast, that would be amazing. What do you think Swiatek should do better against someone like Rybakina? Serve. I mean, it's gonna come back, it's gonna keep coming back as a topic. But like, if your serve isn't this vulnerable, you definitely can respond to that a bit more. Obviously, I think the last few games as well, she's kind of shown some better responses to the flatter balls going at her forehand. Like she's been able to produce quite a lot on them too. In the past, we've definitely also said that like against some of these bigger ball strikers, she kind of has to avoid trying to out-hit them if it's impossible, if it's just like, way too much risk. And I think that's also the case, but I don't think that's really been an issue here. Maybe outside of that 5-2 game, when she was like really trying to wrap up every single point as fast as Rybakina can. That's a fantastic rally for her here. I mean, Rybakina once again making sure that this point actually is longer, that Swiatek will have to hit one more shot, but the backhand down the line finish as well. Very low over the net, but it's extremely clean. And love 15, I mean, maybe she can look for something here. Attacks the second serve return, but she will be in trouble directly. Net court from Rybakina, I think, will help Swiatek, though. Yes. Well, I mean, she could have played that drive volley better, Rybakina, definitely. Getting to that one shot, barely getting it back in play, definitely won the point here for Swiatek. And a love 30, so, it's a proper opportunity. Especially as this part of the match so far has seemingly been started like being the one where things get a little stabilized and we actually get more holds and stuff. This is another huge chance for Swiatek, and she wins the point. Phenomenal angles. I mean, again, Nurlan, and also to your question, like obviously if you get a chance against someone like Rybakina, you gotta open up the court, right? You gotta get her on the move. And in this point, she did it beautifully. The backhand on the slide, cross court had such a sharp angle. And then once again, she can go to the like the old and trustworthy backhand down the line, which wins her the point. 3 break points for Swiatek. I think it's also going to be on the second serve, so you know what's coming. You know that a blow of sorts is going to come. Let's see if it's in the net, in the outside the court, or if it's actually good enough to win her the point. Well, it's not good enough to win her the point yet, and in fact, it's a sensational Rybakina counter. That's kind of wild that Swiatek, fired this return with so much velocity, and yet Rybakina just takes it. Kind of similar to one of these previous forehands from Swiatek, where like Rybakina crouches a little bit and is able to still surprise Swiatek with how much power she actually gets on it, despite being seemingly under timing pressure. And 2 breakpoints for Swiatek left. Yeah, tries to go for a massive forehand return on the first serve. Can't make it in. One more opportunity. This will be pretty awful for her if she can't break from 40, given where we are in the match. A 3-1 lead could really feel like, especially if she consolidates, could really bring her closer to the decider here. And it's an ace from Rybakina. I mean, sometimes you just can't do much about this, right? She fires a perfect serve on the line. 5th ace today from Elena. None from Iga so far. She's even trying to like really smack the Rybakina first serves right now, which I mean, sometimes maybe it can work, but we'll see what sort of spot serving Elena can come up with. Not that great here. Gonna be a second serve. Yeah, Iga just firing away sort of whatever's coming, and you gotta do it, I suppose, but the last 2 returns on that deuce side have been pretty long, like pretty far long, so Rybakina with a game point, and let me remind you that she was love 30 down in that game. Going for that ace down the tee, but just barely missing it. And yeah, this is kind of that fighting fire with fire deal. What Swiatek did on this point too. Just kind of, yeah, overplaying her own aggression. as you're afraid of Rybakina starting to dominate. You just try to go as aggressively as like it's humanly possible, and eventually you end up missing. So 2 games all. That was 3 breakpoints for Swiatek. Rybakina had 2 in the opening game of the set. Yeah, if Tsitsipas and Ruud are going to be in the final in Barcelona, that will be pretty funny. And this time they would also have both, like both of them would have a bit of a milestone, right? In the sense that Kasper would still be going for a title above that 250 level, and Tsitsipas would be like 0 and he's like what 0 and 10 in ATP 500 finals. So it would be a slightly different dynamic from what they had in Monte Carlo, and it seemed like only Kasper was going for something new, but at the same time, of course, Steph really needed to win it as well. I think that special guest incoming might be one thing. It won't be you, but it would be very funny if it was you. There might be, because I remember Vange asking about something, so like that's probably one of the main ideas I have. I would love it if it was, let's say, Anna Karinskaya. She was in Stuttgart, Very quick game for Swiatek, lots of depth on that last backhand cross. Easy hold, which is good for her, of course, given that she just wasted 3 breakpoints in a row, and it didn't lead to a turning point, at least of yet, right? So recovering like that. Yeah, doctor, so I was right. Vange MD. I'll get my earphones out. Unless it's Doogie Hauser. Or maybe actually the actual House MD, maybe. Maybe that doctor from, what's the name of that show? Grey's Anatomy. What's her name? I don't remember. But Dr. Vange does house calls now. No. Clooney was an ER. In Grey's Anatomy, there's this Asian actress, very famous. I don't remember. I think Clooney was ER, not Grey's Anatomy. Doctor Who, yeah. Like 10 different actors can come. Doctor Strange, there's also. Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Sandra, oh yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Yes, indeed, Ghosty. Dr. Phil, of course. Yeah, I knew that she has like two letters in her surname, but I couldn't remember which 2 letters they were. Anyway, let's stop naming famous doctors, I suppose. And let's see if Elena Rybakina's next service hold will also be as tough. Oh yeah, that's Dr. Phil. Kind of like the staple of daytime TV along with Oprah, I suppose. Although I don't know, is he like dead now, or is he? I have no clue if he's alive. No, he's still alive. But he apparently hasn't had a psychology license since 2006. Does he still do anything on TV though? I guess not. Anyway, I see that Vansh is there, so I guess I should add him.
I am Francisca George, and
Yes,
I'm a
indeed.
friend of the show.
Perfect. Thanks.
Hello. From deepest, darkest San Diego.
You can hear the commentary or whatever it is.
Yeah, I turned it off.
All right, thank you. Have you been watching since the start, or are you just waking up?
No, I started watching at 2-1, Swiatek leading a break in the first set. So I've been watching the last 1 hour.
The last 1 hour. Okay, then you got a pretty good outlook, I think, on
I
what's been
missed the
happening.
sort of
Great.
really fast start from Ego where she was up 2-love and she had a couple of break points to go up double break. I missed that portion, but I've seen everything since.
Yeah. I remember that at the very beginning, actually, in that third game, Matthew in the chat was saying that he's afraid that Swiatek will destroy Rybakina today. And, well, that was quite a jinx.
Yeah, that took quite a turn.
We almost had the virtual bagel.
Almost, yep. Saved those, what was it, 4 set points, something like that at 2-5.
Yeah, I think it was 4, and then Rybakina took the 5th on serve. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Most of them just Rybakina trying to be aggressive on return as she should be, and missing. But yeah, 4 set points I believe on return. I don't know where you are in the match, but like that's a nasty net cord from Swiatek.
Okay, we'll probably see it now because I'm at 30-15 Rybakina. Looks like it's a
You're like super far behind them.
Yeah, I gotta.
I might try to find another stream because this is like extremely far behind at the moment. If you haven't seen it yet, we're talking like 2-3 points behind.
Okay, I might just refresh.
Who's Junior Sao?
He's a footballer. He played for the Chargers, which is the San Diego football team in the NFL. Used to be, but now, now they're actually the LA team.
We might be seeing a bit of a turnaround here as we're going to have yet another breakpoint for Iga Swiatek. I guess I was kind of, I don't know if surprised. I don't know if impressed either. But an interesting part of this was that she blew these 3 breakpoints and then still held easily. So maybe this is really like representing, a stronger patch at the moment. But
yeah, for sure.
Has she done anything sort of to? Has she done anything to like stick with Rybakina better in the second set?
No, I think Rybakina's level is probably like just Swiatek stepping up a little bit more and just being a bit more confident in her ball striking. I felt like there were times in the first set when especially she had some opportunities but just hesitated, especially on those backhand to backhand exchanges. I feel like Rybakina was getting the better.
She was really on edge as well, like on some of these points. I think like at some point Rybakina was like putting so much pressure on her that whenever Swiatek actually got a chance to hit an aggressive shot, she was just kind of all over the place. But it's definitely not the case in the second set. Like she's kind of even more aggressive now, and even on first serve return sometimes.
Yeah, there were like some mid-court backhands that I was very surprised that Iga missed in the first set. Especially like I think in the 2-3 game, she just played a couple of very loose points on the backhand, which you don't normally see. Like just a mid-court ball sails long, just something in the net, and then all of a sudden you're down love 30 for like no apparent reason. And then it just puts a lot more pressure on you. And the other issue was that she made like 60% of her first serves, but she was winning like 47% of those points, and that was rough because she wasn't getting anything out of it. But then actually the first,
I don't know if she still is, but
the first service game of the second set, her first serve was in the locker room. She did not have the first serve in the first game of the second set, but she still held from 15-40. So that, now it seems like it's a competitive match, but she gets broken there. That could be worse.
Yeah, so far this game, like the most important points, she's obviously trying to go after the return, but then it doesn't work out. So I think on the scoreboard on our stream we can. Oh, actually, we're still showing Dr. Phil. Okay, so never mind then. But yeah, what I was trying to say is that on the scoreboard we can already see that Rybakina held, and it's just yet another game where Swiatek missed one break point, but also that return at deuce. Nothing egregious, but
yeah,
just sort of mounts up as the set goes on, and we'll see if she can stay as clean on serve as she's been the last 2 games. Jerry Springer also gets a mention in the crowd. We are just talking in the chat. Sami Kadira in the crowd. I don't know. I didn't see. You should know best, John. I mean, you're actually there. Stuttgart does kind of seem like one of the best events to attend. I mean, indoors, you're not going to get distracted by the horrible weather. Obviously, the fields every single year are insane.
Yeah.
Even when they added it to 50 next to it, the field remained pretty much as good as it was. So, and you get a Porsche if you win. I mean, you don't really get it as a crowd member, but you can watch the Porsche. You can think, yeah, I would like that. I would like that car. I don't know if it's an advantage or a disadvantage, actually. And it seems like the meals for the media people are also great. They can also play weird table tennis. We also saw that on John's timelines.
That's what I was thinking too when I first saw it, John. I was like, this table tennis table feels very small.
Yeah, it's clearly not a regular sized one.
Yeah.
Spiel und Satz. Okay, next set.
I don't speak German, but I understood what that meant.
Yeah. Is it like what, game and set or something like that? Yeah. I guess. And then he said next set, so that I definitely understood. He's also playing a Polish guy in the video. I can't say we're friends, but like, we know each other. That was my reaction to the forehand winner. Iga will soon pummel on your screen at 30-all. I'll have to come back to trying to find a stream that's more in line with yours. Yeah, I guess this one should be.
I think this one should be. So,
yeah, that's ridiculous. By the way, whoever is your provider should pay for their crimes. Now I saw Iga throwing out a forehand for 30-all on my other screen, on my other stream, by the way. Like now it's 30-all, just like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, I basically only have 2 choices: tennis channel, cable.
Is it still faster? Is it still faster or? Because I switched the stream and now I see Iga preparing to serve for the 30 points.
No, I just saw the forehand winner. You go ahead.
Oh, you just saw the forehand winner. So then my other stream is clearly a little behind yours then. So there's never like good middle ground here.
Whatever. I guess
but tennis channel should pay for their crimes. You should sue them. We should all sue them.
Yeah.
Although maybe not, because then they will go after us. They have this mentality of like staying together, right? Like the last what was it, like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, when they had some tweets that John was showing me. Is the return the hardest shot in table tennis?
Brett Haber versus Stephanie Miles thing, or that's different?
Yeah, that one. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Is the return the hardest shot in table tennis? Kinda. Like if you get someone who's serving well, not to like set them up for a nice third ball strike, yeah. it's definitely the one that I struggle with the most, I would say.
Do you
And
feel
in
more
general,
comfortable on the forehand or the backhand in table tennis?
Well, I'm kind of like, my trademark is the backhand down the line, but I would say the bread and butter is still forehand. Although some people don't agree. Like my coach from the university actually always told me, why do you run around so much? I mean, your backhand is your strength, you should be going after it more.
Yeah.
But I can't really answer to it because, yeah, like my trademark is the backhand. Like I was playing, for example, 2 days ago against this guy whom I hadn't played in like 6 months. And I hit this backhand winner like the third point, and he's like, "Oh, I missed that shot." So like that's kind of my trademark for sure. But I feel more comfortable on the forehand still.
These days, every time I play table tennis, I'm going full Benoit Paire mode. I'm basically refusing to hit forehands because I just don't know. I can't get the timing right on the backhand. I feel so good on the one-hander. I mean, you basically only can hit a one-hander in table tennis.
Yeah, on situational shots, you're gonna see some players going for it. There's this pro Hugo Calderano from Brazil who actually is kind of famous for it. That he hits two-handers out of like defensive positions. Not quite a lot of the time actually, compared to most. But yeah, I mean, you're not really gonna get anyone who hits more two-handers than one-handers. But there is at least one pro player who like does it pretty frequently. So maybe something like Sharapova had that left-handed forehand that she would sometimes go for instead of her backhand, and maybe it's like that sort of frequency that it was enough to sort of be for her to be a little famous for it. But of course, it's not like she was hitting it every single game.
But yeah, Miami.
JJ Wolf, yeah. That's like one shot, but there's also Jaroslav Pospisil, who was almost in the top 100. Coaches Vitko Pshiva right now. He's probably more than Sharapova, I would say, in that basically any ball you stretch him to the backhand, he's going to hit off his left hand. Interesting that he never taught Kopriva that, I guess. I guess he just realizes that Kopriva has a better backhand than him.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully, Tennis Channel can switch back here to Stuttgart. They're kind of.
So what are they showing? Munich or
Barcelona road match point over
Barcelona. Okay, I thought maybe Munich because Fritz and stuff.
Is this going to be the tournament for Casper? We'll see. 6 finals lost in a row? 7, 6, yeah.
7-6 what?
I don't know. Finals lost in a row for Casper.
Yeah, we're taking it into consideration every single one, right? Yeah. I mean, Estorir, he was obviously, he won, and after that, yeah, it's a few of them already. It will be a big storyline, like one of them going for that big title, one of them going for an ATP 500.
Yeah.
Lexi disappointed with what's happening right now, as she wanted an easy Rybakina win. This set has not been easy for Elena, but she's still keeping herself in it, and she's still not behind. So
yeah,
it might be that 15-all point here as well. Really looked like something where like Swiatek might have an opportunity, but Rybakina punches that last forehand so well. 40-15 now as well. It's not looking that amazing for Swiatek, given that, of course, she had a few opportunities this set, hasn't been able to capitalize, and now it's going to be a battle of nerves.
Yeah, Rybakina has still done such a good job in this match of controlling the play from the middle of the court.
Yeah, I think especially like the serve return game that she has, it's just such an obvious advantage over Swiatek, I guess. Of course, the first part for the most part. And also, yeah, just the flat hits right from the middle. You don't really see any like long rallies where Swiatek can move her, when she can stretch her. There's just every single point kind of ends in like 3-5 shots.
Yeah.
And that's lovely for Elena, for sure.
I see some, there can be some parallels in this rivalry to the men's side with Carlos and Yannick, in the sense that Yannick wants to be playing a lot of those fast, high tempo rallies, and and the more that are, within the serve and return. I feel like that's where Yannick.
Yeah, but he's not as self-reliant as Rybakina. He doesn't hit as
Yeah.
flat
There's
as
obviously a
Rybakina.
ton of differences, but that's the one similarity I would say. And also,
I would say it's more similar to like Swiatek playing Alexandrova, for example.
Oh yeah, or yeah. That's.
Like if Alexandrova had a stronger serve and was moving better, she'd be as good as Rybakina in this matchup, and she is already pretty good in this matchup.
Yeah, although, what was it? I feel like Stuttgart. Even though Iga's won it twice, she's had a couple of tests. Both times.
Mostly Samsonova, right? That was the match that everyone remembers. That was perhaps the toughest one in the 37 match win streak. Yeah, I don't feel like she will be unbeaten at this event for very long, even if she wins today. Like, it's just not really that amazing of a profile for her. I mean, yeah, she runs into someone like Samsonova, Rybakina, even Sabalenka, despite winning twice against her here. Like, there is a possibility of a loss. Yeah. Karolina Pliskova last year took a set from her. Of course, after that was not able to maintain it, but was pretty unplayable in the first set too. It's a possibility that you just run into a big hitter here, and it's going to be just hard to stop them and contain their fire. How do you feel about the quality of this match as well so far? I mean, obviously it's a big story, 2 best players of the year. I think kind of no one can disagree with that. And Stuttgart semi between them as well. Has it been an entertaining watch?
It's definitely had its moments where either player has looked like in the ascendancy, and then they've had like a patch of 2 or 3 games where they've looked really good. But at the same time, I don't know if we've seen that so much yet, but maybe there's still more in this match too.
Yeah, basically the reason why I asked is because it's so 3-5 shots rallies oriented. It's it's okay. I just don't know if it's special. You kind of need a bit more.
No.
Yeah. You kind of need like more drama here to be special because, the entertainment value in itself probably hasn't been that high.
It's not like Sabalenka, Swiatek, Madrid, for instance.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that. Yeah.
So
it's not Kostyuk yesterday. It's not. There's been a fair few thrillers.
Actually, all of Kostyuk's matches have been.
Yeah, I mean Zhenk as well. Yeah. She saves 5 match points, then she wastes 7. Basically, that's how she's been doing this week.
Then there was the match she played against Siegmund in the first match, where she was up like 6-3, 5-3, and then served for it, and then like kind of choked some, and then Siegmund came back.
Third set was no. What happened in the third set? 6-4. Okay, but yeah, that also went like 3 hours long, right? So
yeah, 3 hours 10 minutes. So it was.
Has every single match of hers this week gone over 3 hours?
I don't remember the match times. I think the first one did. I think yesterday.
The first one did for sure.
Yeah, I know the first one did for sure. I don't remember the match times for the rest. Kostyuk was like 2 hours 50 minutes against Goff, and against Zheng it was like 2:40. So, Almost.
Oh my god! And Jan Lennart Struff is 6-2, 2 games to love up on Holger Rune in the Munich semis.
Whoa!
So it looks like another chance might be coming up for him in terms of the first elusive title.
Wow.
Ruud, in the meantime, also clinched that semi against Barcelona, so we are very close to another Ruud Tsitsipas. Navone goes, very close to going up a set on Barrer. Every single event kind of happening at the same time. In the other WTA Tour one, Sloane Stephens has defeated, won the first set against Caroline Garcia 6-3.
Gregor Barrer this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's random, right? He's not horrible on clay, even though his style naturally doesn't suit it, maybe. But he's not horrible.
I thought maybe this would be a quarter type week, but that didn't pan out.
didn't pan out in like embarrassing fashion for him.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really think of yourself as, and Ghosty, by the way, if you're still listening, Ghosty, you should really turn up your mic for this. You can't think of yourself as like a contender for big titles, top 10 player and stuff, and lose to Gregoire Barrère 4-6, 4-6 on clay. And at least for now, it seems like Navona is handling the Frenchman. But it's pretty funny because Barrère recently said he might retire after this year. Like, he was in a really horrible slump and gets that semi pretty much out of nowhere. It was kind of similar though when he rose in like 2021 or 2022. I can't remember what the year was now. Maybe it was 21. And it was kind of similar that he actually started out on clay, like with some good form. And then, of course, it was indoor hard in French, just in France, just like every single time. But he actually also like kind of started out on clay in terms of his second rise to the top 100.
He's the guy that stopped Cameron Norrie's good start to the year last year.
Yeah. I think you can lose to Gregoire Barrère in Miami. It's not Bucharest, but yeah, that's kind of where things started falling apart for Cam. Bakina, of course, serving at 4-5 now. 15 also. Pretty crucial game, but so far she's also been like very high on the ace count, I think. I think it's like, 6 or 7 now. And she finds one here. The serve advantage making a big deal of difference.
Rybakina
Ghosty said that's true for East. Huh? Come again?
A lot of 3-set matches for Rybakina this year.
Yeah, like she's kind of struggling in a lot of these, but she's just winning anyway. Of course, against Swiatek, that doesn't have to be the case, maybe. But well, I was just talking about her serve, and after an ace, she finds a double fault for 30-all. So we are now just 2 points away from the set for Swiatek. And well, I don't know how much I should spoil it. If I should spoil it to you, but there will be a set point as well, and she's had so many opportunities in this set, but this is the one that's most crucial.
Crucially, Iga's been taking care of her serve much better.
Yeah, like that's been the main difference maker after the first game. John also talking about some sloppy play on return from Rybakina's racket, which I can't disagree with either.
Yeah. This return that she missed at 30-all, giving Iga the set point.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going to a decider, as you said, in most Elena Rybakina matches. Swiatek jumps on the backhand return, and this time, on a very crucial point, it's in. The previous few breakpoints that she had in the set was basically her trying to stay aggressive on return, but missing them.
Yeah.
And this time she manages to get it done, get Rybakina a bit uncomfortable. So it is 3-6, 6-4. It feels like she's really upped her aggression on return even more in this set, and so far she's getting the rewards. I mean, by the way, Jan Lennart's proof. Did you see that result?
What happened?
6-2, 4 games to love.
What the heck? Is it just one of those?
In 40 minutes.
Is this just one of those Luna days where he's just like, I should have withdrawn, so why am I playing?
Maybe. What were you gonna say anyway about the
I know,
match?
I feel like that quality return from Iga right down the middle on set point. Those are the type of returns that she normally can make that are very high percentage, but she hasn't been doing that a ton.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was trying to go for them on at least 2 breakpoints this set previously, but netted them, I think, both. There was definitely one as well that she was hitting off the forehand that was a lot more risky, but I'm thinking of a couple which were like really close. But yeah, she gets the job done. Definitely like made it a bit more of a sleeper in that like, she kind of slowed down the well, didn't slow down, but I mean, she kind of made Rybakina not stand out anymore in the second set. She's even more aggressive on return, and now it's like kind of Rybakina, well, standing there, hitting good serves, but like not really making that much of an impact on the match anymore. Which is also a skill in itself and an achievement in itself. And we'll see if she can keep going. Of course, still unbeaten in Stuttgart, 10-0.
We have 2 10s because Rybakina has won her last 10 deciders, and Iga has won 10 in a row in Stuttgart. So.
Holger Rune won 11 in Munich, but it doesn't seem like he will be winning this time.
9-0 in clay court semis for Iga, so she hasn't lost a semi on clay yet.
Okay. Lost a quarter to Rybakina last year in Rome. How many match points did Struff have against Tiafoe in Stuttgart last year?
I think 2.
See, 1 in the third set, and just 1, really?
Just 1. Okay, I thought it was 2. Yeah,
that's what Flashcore says, but I don't know if I trust it. It's usually accurate. I remember though, sometimes it can have some flaws. I try to Google that. Search it on Twitter. I'm assuming that Rune isn't fit because 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. You're now outside the top 10 now.
Yes, this week he is outside the top 10 for the first time since January 2023. Maybe it's just yet another one of these performances like against Marozsan, where like he kind of starts off on the wrong foot and then the forehand is like incredibly erratic throughout. He can't connect with it well at all for the entire match. And he's had a lot of performances like this, right? The one against Nakashima, yeah. You see, we found a way to include Nakashima already.
Yeah.
Looks like there was only 1 match point indeed. In Tiafoe Struff last year. I was thinking 2 or 3 as well.
Yeah, I thought it was 2.
I was thinking 2 or 3, but I was pretty sure it's not going to be 1. But indeed, it was 1, it seems.
Tsitsipas Lajovic. Do you think that has some upset potential or not really? Steph hasn't looked that good, even though he's just sort of gaining the confidence, but he's not looked unbeatable.
I don't know. He had a bit of an unplayable patch yesterday. It just ended at 3-1 in the third. But all in all, I still expect him to win. But obviously, Lajovic is like a smart, experienced guy who can like kind of throw him off probably. I am angry at Dusan for beating Fils, so by now I kind of just want that Tsitsipas final again. That's probably the best story out of Barcelona.
Yeah. Well, it will be interesting to see what adjustments Ruud makes to play again. Okay, we'll have to turn off these Slack notifications. Shut up.
But yeah, once again, it's Iga serving first. Not sure if that matters a great deal, but of course it worked for her in the first set, despite some early trouble.
That's 2 Serbians out of Madrid right now. Of course, one of them is a 3-time champion.
Who's the other?
Laszlo Gera.
Because, Hamad Medjedovic is also out of Madrid. Who else is out of Madrid? Filip Krajinovic is out of Madrid. No,
Was he ever entered though?
I don't think so. That's why I was laughing. Yeah,
his ranking is not high enough. What has happened to Medjedovic, by the way? I sort of stopped following him since Australia.
I don't know. I mean, he was withdrawing from events due to illness, whatever that means. Then he came back, looked horrible in his first few matches, and then he disappeared off planet Earth again. Looks like this will be just a bit of a wasted season. Hopefully he comes back at some point, though. He seemed like the most obvious top 100 debut for this year, like someone who just can't miss out. But, well, if you're not healthy, then there's not much you can do.
Oh, Fritz versus Struff final. Should be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a proper chance. I think this is one where even a lot of Americans will be rooting for Struff. That saga of him not winning a title at the ATP level, just it's been going on for so many years, and I think everyone just wants to see it done by now, And especially after Stuttgart last year was such a tight finish, and Madrid as well. I mean, what a run!
Yeah.
It's just kind of impossible not to root for the guy to win a title. I didn't really think that it was a massive possibility this week, which is why I maybe wasn't thinking about it that much. But I mean, once that pops up, once we have that shot right now, of course, that's fantastic.
Has he made the final of Munich before?
Yes, that was his first final in 2021 against Nicolas Basilashvili. By the way, here we have an interesting turn of events. Rybakina already putting on some pressure with a massive return and getting a break point.
Wow, just crushed that second serve. Hitting her favorite forehand cross court. For a winner. So you have some pressure here early in the third. This is a very important game. As great as Stuttgart has been, I don't think I'd pick any of these matches so far to be match of the year contenders this week. Because I feel like the quality of the level of tennis hasn't been exceptionally high, but the drama has been there, and the twists and turns of momentum swings have been there, but not so much super high level.
I have to look at the draw, because I think there was something that's much better than some of the Kostyuk matches. What was that?
Sabalenka was good until the injury happened.
I didn't catch it, actually. I couldn't watch it.
But what were the other ones? Sabalenka Vondrousova yesterday was.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking about then. Maybe it was just the Kostyuk matches. Obviously, Goff Vickery was a horror show.
Yeah,
but it was long. It was dramatic. Probably just Marta Kostyuk deserves a bit of a gold star this week, for all these thrillers. Just pat on the back, and you're just like, yeah, thank you, Marta. You've been delivering. You probably won't make the match of the year list, but you've done well.
Maybe finish this year in the top 10 and be in the WTA finals, I hope.
Is she around it right now in terms of the race? I guess she will be, right?
Like 9th. I think if she wins, she'll be a 7th. And yeah, this is after missing 2 1000s. So I feel like it's been a very good year so far. Basically, first major quarterfinal, first 500 final, first 1000.
Yeah, if only she won that quarterfinal, though. Like, there was a very real chance.
But she's looked better of the two since.
She got Goff now, she managed to get her now in the more important match, in the Porsche Slam.
Right.
All right, so we finally get this game done for Iga Świątek. We have some stats on the screen. Again, the winners' unforced errors stats, like, just very close to one another. Nothing really that these short tables will tell us. Both women pretty low on first serve in the second set in terms of the percentages, of course. And that kind of might be a factor. I mean, why Świątek got a lot of looks on the Rybakina serve, right?
Yes.
I do think that even on first serve return, she started being more aggressive. But yeah, again, like Rybakina in the first set had a 66% rate of landing it in, whereas in the second, just 49.
I think the first serve percentage
that is a big deal. That is
dropping for Rybakina. It matters a lot, even more so than it does for Iga, because that is the cornerstone of Rybakina's game. And if she's having to hit second serves over, even in the first set, she was getting beat every time. She was like 4 for 13 on second serve points. So just didn't have to hit that many.
Yeah, because we sometimes talk about that serve return edge for Rybakina, but at the same time, like, if she's landing her second serve, obviously Iga is on top of her as well. Like, it's not just Iga's serve that gets pressured. So 49%. If that gets maintained throughout the rest of the third match, that's too low. That's very likely going to put her in more and more trouble. Of course, it's never like really like super easy to just say you land more first serves, because you don't want to take speed, you don't want to take pace, you don't want to take power of them. But I just said speed. I just said speed in 3 ways. By the way, I wanted to say ankles and spins or whatever, but I just said speed, power, and pace. I could also go for velocity.
All those tennis buzzwords. You gotta hit them all in one sentence, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, speaking of both wings, I wanted to see the stats of the backhand and the forehand in terms of unforced errors, because I don't think it's been a very clinical day for Iga on the backhand.
I don't trust the WTA stats anyway, so even if we got that, but we won't.
Oh yeah, that's. But yeah, I mean, we usually just get one page, and it's like just the very basic stats. So I want to see more, but yeah.
Ghosty, that's very modern tennis fan from you. Where is the mention for Agnieszka Radwańska or Angelique Kerber?
Yeah, those are the prime examples. Did you see the thing that Petkovic said about Kerber? I thought that was so funny.
Yeah. I retweeted it. I think it's straight up dead wrong, but it's funny. I mean, yeah, let's not go for it. Like, let's not maybe just overextend our claims.
I don't even think she was entirely serious, because just German friend, good.
I don't even know what the platform was. Like, where is this taken from? What's the purpose of her saying that?
What if it was but it sounds believable, but I just don't know what the source is.
Yeah, like perhaps she thinks that she just wants to big up her game in that way. Which is fine.
Because they were like really good friends when they were on tour. They were like best friends.
Yeah, perhaps it's like really serious. Perhaps it's like half serious. Yeah, as you said. But at the same time, I think it's just a massive stretch. Really, it's massively exaggerated. Oh, and by the way, the thing we're talking about, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it, Oh, actually, John has just showed it.
Actually, it is on her
I mean,
side.
the producer is just incredible. I mean, come on. I
Yeah,
just
well,
wanted to show it to the to tell it to all the people there, and it's already on the screen. I mean, he's just faster than I think.
was it almost as fast as that Iga? No, as that Rybakina
Is
forehand on the line winner.
against Sean. Yeah, that forehand on the line winner is of course incredible. Was Sean talking about Rune? I guess maybe, but yeah, if so, I very much agree, of course. That's what I meant when I was talking about these Nakashima, Marozsan, and stuff losses. Will there be an ATP final that doesn't clash with Stuttgart? I don't know. I haven't checked when they are, but it's very likely that they will both be, all of them will be pretty early, actually. Maybe Bucharest? John, not too happy about the quality of that semi-final.
Which one? This one?
I guess. It's probably the only one he's watching. No, I mean, I think it's been okay. It's just not that level that we sort of expect, right, from the two players in the world. It's definitely also because of the dynamics of the whole thing and like how they approach it and
how they match each other, and it's different than a Sabalenka versus Iga, where I feel like the quality, even if it's a one-sided win for either player, it feels like a higher quality match.
Yeah. Here we just really end every point in 5 shots, and it's hard to be entertaining when that happens. It's possible, but I think this has been a little too serve return oriented to be like absolutely thrilling and edge of your seat stuff. Of course, this might still happen. Like if we get a third set tiebreak, for example. When has Iga last played a third set tiebreak, by the way?
Has that ever happened?
Maybe because I just started thinking about it and I don't remember. That's why I asked, because it feels like it would be something absurd.
More than one, maybe like something in 2019 or something, like where I just she wasn't as much on my radar. But that's, man, has she ever?
I should remember most of these matches, like against Herzog and stuff. Maybe there was something there, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'm trying to see if I can remember.
Obviously, tiebreaks are a little less frequent on the WTA side as well, so it's not that often that we get it, but it would still be pretty wild. 7-5 against, in the third against Watson, Krejcikova, 7-5 against Kontaveit, 7-5 against Danilovic. There is one in Prague at an 80K 2018 against Martina Di Giuseppe, and I think that's it.
So none.
Because so many of her matches are in straights anyway, right? Regardless if she wins or loses. So, Ostapenko Dubai 2022.
Period.
Yeah.
And how many tiebreaks does she
Ostapenko 2022 Dubai. There is Ostapenko. The loss just before the streak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She won the first I looked at that match recently. Yeah. I looked at that much recently, so I should have known that. But actually, yes, there is one at the WTA Tour, and it's that one, the last loss before the 37-match win streak. Yeah. But of course, we're still far away from that. For now, just one game all. Swiatek 15-30 down as well.
I also know that she's only lost 12 matches in her whole career, WTA level, when she's won the first set. But 6 of those were in majors. So
that is a pretty rough breakdown indeed. Like 50% of them in majors. We only have 4 events a year. She plays like what, 12? No, even more. Yeah. And it's going to be a breakpoint as well. I mean, it's tough to really appreciate much of what's happening here, because again, it's like just Rybakina slamming a return. Swiatek can't get to it, can't produce she can get to it, but she can't produce any reasonable shot out of it. So it's again just kind of super short, very aggressive points. I still haven't actually went down to the very bottom of the chat. Does Andreeva's game resemble any of the top four? Is she in her own lane? I mean, definitely not Sabalenka or Rybakina, definitely not
More
Swiatek.
Goff.
So I guess a little Goff, yeah. There might be some similarities, yeah.
I thought this week could maybe be a potential for her to be a Lynn's 2019 type week.
Yeah, I was hoping for it, yeah.
But
she lost to Kalinina, of course, yesterday.
Goff was a lucky loser at that tournament.
Yeah. 2019 at late at the end of the year, yes. One more breakpoint for Rybakina, though. There was actually a pretty extended exchange, and just ended with Rybakina eventually missing the forehand into the net. Now Swiatek moves her and will get the job done as well with this shovel-ish backhand at the net.
Yeah, I'm still a point behind, but whatever.
Yeah. I try to limit myself, but sometimes when it's like an important point, I guess I should be talking about it. We have the scoreboard anyway on the screen, and otherwise we might not talk about the match whatsoever. We run that danger if we just stop commentating.
This mostly happens for WTA matches for me when I do these streams, no matter who I do it with. ATP, Tennis TV, I can just.
Because on ATP you're using Tennis TV, and on WTA you're using Tennis Channel, or?
Correct.
Okay.
And cable is always going to slow down, and also.
I guess WTA TV is not available in the US, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very weird. I mean, I just don't get that at all.
But also, it wouldn't make much sense for me to get WTA TV because I would also need Tennis Channel for the Roland Garros, and that has both men and women. So, and then for the majors, I need ESPN for Australian Open, Wimbledon, and US. And actually, just Tennis Channel is not enough for Roland Garros. I also need Peacock. I also need NBC. So, yeah.
The rough life of a tennis fan in the States and kind of all over the world in many countries too.
Yeah. And of course, yeah, if you get Tennis Channel, that's not enough. You need Tennis Channel Plus. So that's an additional $110 a year, and then you need
That's why the best possible streaming service in tennis is the ATP Challenger TV.
Yes. Yeah.
Although it has its issues. Okay. Yes. Sure. There was one more breakpoint here for Swiatek, but that's also saved. And well, I don't know if it feels that crucial yet, but we certainly could see another one break type of set, like in the second one.
The backhand down the line. That was a much better backhand.
And she managed to she went down the third breakpoint because of a double fault too. So it was a very important recovery.
Both players have done a good job saving breakpoints. Rybakina 9 for 11, Swiatek 12 for 14. So this match feels very much up in the air right now.
Yeah. And it also feels like, I don't know if you agree with that, but like basically whatever happens in this match, there's one shot that Swiatek can rely on, and it has been that backhand down the line.
Yeah, I agree.
There was one she missed early, I remember, but like in general, her success rate on it has been pretty astonishing.
And
like that's kind of the one shot that she can trust always here, regardless of what's happening. She's gonna go for it, and that 80% of the time she's gonna make it. Ooh, and apparently Muguruza announced retirement. I knew that she was gonna have a presser today.
Oh, normally I would be shocked, but I just am not, because I think everyone said that yesterday, and I was like, yeah, Probably.
I mean, she announced her presser, so it could be two things, right? Like, it could have been retirement or I'm coming back and I'll tell you when.
Oh.
And it is retirement.
But then you wouldn't really hold a press conference to be like, I mean, would you? Like, is that?
I don't know. Probably not. But given, it's in Spain and stuff, maybe. I could imagine that maybe. Like, she mentioned going on an indefinite break.
So is that her last? Is she going to play one more tournament? Or is...
I don't know. I haven't listened to it, but there are some quotes here. I think that this time I was nervous. Well, I mean, I don't know. Just from the photo, she doesn't look like she's gonna play. I'm gonna stop there.
Okay.
Like that's all I'm gonna say on the topic. Yeah. Doesn't really look like she's been training that much to me, so probably not.
No. Looks like she's been very happy off the court, so that's good for her.
Yeah. Obviously that's good for her. You shouldn't stay in the sport if it doesn't make you happy. So
she had a good career. She won 2 majors. She got the WTA finals.
Oh, of course, number one.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the backhand down the line, but being, by the way, like this one shot that Iga can trust here, and she saves the 4th breakpoint with it.
Well, I tell you, she can't trust that swing volley.
Yeah,
there was one like this she missed in the first set in the 2-5 game.
Yeah,
go down
I remember that. Yes, I remember that very well. And by the way, she kind of saves the 5th breakpoint with a backhand down the line too. I mean, she also has to clean it up later, but like it's mostly won by that shot. So
yeah, she's doing this is really from the baseline. It's like just
this is really becoming a Iga backhand down the line match.
Man, the first set, I feel like the backhand wasn't there at all. But since then, the down the line has been so clinical, actually. You look at it, it's like...
And especially like in terms of when playing them.
Yeah. Because actually when she's been going cross-court, that's when some of the errors have come, where it's just been like middle of the court, put away-ish type balls, or ones that she can make progress on. Ooh. And another passing shot as well. She's had some good, like, sort of those anticipation backhand down the line passing shot winners as well.
Yeah. I'm not really treating them in the same category, but yeah, we can, sure.
Yeah.
And she gets out of that game. 5 breakpoints saved, so this could be massive.
Yeah.
Sloane Stevens, in the meantime, defeated Caroline Garcia, so she's the first finalist in Rouen. And the other semi-final, of course, will be Magda Linette against Angelina Kalinina. So I guess Linette now has to stop watching the Stuttgart semi-final and has to get on the court herself. I actually doubt she would be watching, but well, it's of course pretty funny to have. Pretty rare to have 2 Poles in the semi-finals of 2 different events the same week on the main tour. In fact, I think it's never happened before. I checked that briefly yesterday and I couldn't find a link between any players. Usually when like you have Linette making a semi, it's a 250, and Swiatek that week is probably not playing. Usually when you had Urszula Radwańska making a semi, it also was a week where Agnieszka was not playing. So
Has
So
there been
like
any
I
weeks
could.
where Eva and her coach have been in the semi?
Oh,
I'm sure that
definitely.
has been more.
If we go between
Miami
genders, then
2022.
yeah. If we go between genders, then of course. But no, on the WTA purely, I don't. I wasn't able to
Janovic and
find it.
Radwanska Wimbledon. Janovic Radwanska Wimbledon 2013.
Oh yeah, 2013, for example, yeah, and Kubot in the quarters. But this is the same event also, so it's like a little different. I guess you could go even harder at it and look at for different events, but I think even same events you wouldn't find it on the WTA. I don't think it ever happened. Yeah, Ghosty pointing out my recipe for successful tennis, apparently. Well, Matt Struff would have to play the doubles anyway, I guess. I mean, he could have withdrawn, yeah, sure. But I think he would have played it anyway with Mies very close to the title there too.
Stephens beating both Pushkova and Garcia this week, 6-3, 6-2. She has a very good matchup against Pushkova, not so much against Garcia. 3 and 5 was their head-to-head coming in this one.
I mean, Ghosty, Struff played what, 6 games today plus 14 games against Rune. He played 20 games in singles today. Why wouldn't he play the doubles semi as well? I think I'm not sure he needs that rest.
He beat Felix and Rune today. Wow. Struffy loves playing the Canadians. He's 6-3 against Chapo. Against Felix.
Loving the Canadians. And yeah, Matt, I've been following that Komesania semi. He is fighting to break the top 100. If he wins the title, of course, he has already saved 3 match points against Varias. And now, as you said, he was almost down and out. I mean, I don't know if he's going to do it any other way unless he wins the title this week. So it's like really crucial for him. But yeah, Faria probably will be disappointed to lose 2 at home. But for him, it's definitely quite new to reach these stages too. Should we introduce the key scam on Talking Tennis? When we were in Bonn, maybe it would have worked, but how would I be supposed to kiss Vansh or whoever else was on the stream? Like that's not possible then. I mean, clearly you can go, Steve, because Iga Świątek is doing it. And Elena Rybakina is doing it too. By the way,
against Mukova, and you'll see so many drop shots from Iga.
Yeah. Or the Halep match at the French. I remember that at the beginning of the week, one of John's new friends from Poland, actually, Żelisław, asked on Twitter, how many drop shots do you think Iga Świątek will play during the entire week in Stuttgart? And gave a few options. I personally clicked 1 to 5, I think, or something like that. Yeah. I'm not sure, if anyone's even counting. Maybe he is. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a large amount, especially as it's Stuttgart, because you don't really have moments to like hit drop shots here. Like it's a little too slick, a little too fast for it. Like it's like just like on indoor hard courts, you're rarely gonna have opportunities to hit drop shots on. It just makes more sense to keep pummeling the ball rather than come up with something like that. 2 games all anyway, and 2 hours and 20 minutes already. So at least we're getting some, length value from this match.
1 to 5 the whole tournament. I mean, Ons report literally hits that in a game, in a service game or a return game.
if Ons Jabeur makes the Wimbledon final this year, she's kind of going to be like Jan-Lennard Struff, where like it will be kind of impossible to root against her.
Oh yeah, she already had that last year.
Well,
in the
not
sense
from
that
me yet.
it was impossible to root for.
But she did massively blow it last year also. Whereas Struff, I guess, neither of his 3 finals he's blown it. I mean, he had a match point against Tiafoe, but it was such a high quality tiebreak and like so many long rallies, including the one that Tiafoe won.
Yeah.
I guess Struff hasn't really blown a final yet. He's had some semis though, which he probably could have won. I mean, he's 4-10 in semifinals. So. For a while, he couldn't even get into a final. The fact that he got his first in 2021 was quite a bit of a surprise. Yeah, the last few minutes, maybe we're seeing a bit of a turnaround here in the other direction now. I mean, Rybakina pushing for the break in the previous game. Now she might also be doing it. As she produces a nice combo, the backhand down the line, page out of Swiatek's Facebook, and then the smash. It does feel like the intensity the last few minutes from Iga hasn't maybe really been the same as in the second set, but of course it's still very open for both players. Iga just hit a drop shot, but it was like after her missed first serve. So I don't think it counts. Yeah, and also it wasn't even in the court. What were you gonna say about Lajovic?
His kick serve on clay. It's quite a strength.
Is he comfortable so far against Steph? Oh, okay. 2 games so.
Yeah, I have that one on the other screen while I'm watching this. Okay, yeah, I see the drop shot now in the net.
Yeah. You're going to see a double fault in a second too, so it's another break point for Swiatek. Is she going to save it with a backhand down the line? You guessed it. I mean, yes, it's kind of even inside out, but still, it qualifies in my mind as down the line for sure. And yeah, yet another time. Why not? The breakpoint conversion rate stats must be like pretty crazy by now. Swiatek in this set, 8 out of 8 on breakpoint saved. Rybakina hasn't faced one yet.
Ooh.
But I suppose the ones in the for the whole match must be going crazy at the minute too. Yeah, so Swiatek is 2 out of 13, and I think Rybakina is 2 out of 17.
Is that even a backhand down the line, or is that a backhand inside out?
Yeah, that's what I said basically. That it's pretty much inside out, but I would still classify it as down the line.
Yeah, because it depends where. If she was on the right, if she was on the ad side of the court when she hit it, then
she was still on the backhand side of the court.
Yeah,
she was like close to the line, but not close to the middle of the court, but not quite on the other side. But I would still classify it as a down the line shot. Let's build up that narrative. Anyway, she has to save another breakpoint. So, I mean, especially if she goes for that again, it's just gonna keep getting stronger.
This was just Rybakina just pouncing on this short ball. And whoa, this! She had to hit this backhand like right below her knees. Crazy.
Just 2 games, by the way, and in the third set, Rybakina's first serve percentage has gone up again. We'll see if it stays like that.
Oh, and this time she misses that forehand.
But yeah, we finally get a break. 3-2 Rybakina. So if Iga is going to win it, it has to be like a really grinding effort, and maybe it will be that third set tiebreaker that we were thinking of. Who knows? What do you think has gone wrong so far for her in the third set? I mean, compared to the second.
Honestly, she's just been having to save a lot of break points, and the backhand on the line has come out clutch, and she's managed to save 8 out of 9 of them. But yeah, like Rybakina also really just stepping up anything short in the court, and she's just going after it, coming forward as well. So that's another additional pressure that maybe wasn't there in the second set, where she was mostly just relying on her serve. So I feel like the ground game of Rybakina has stepped up. She's sort of also just more willing to play a bit more patiently from the baseline. And also she's serving better. I don't know what her first serve percentage is this set compared to the
67, 67, but it's 2 games only, right? So it's just 2 games.
So it's kind of been more Rybakina just picking up her level rather than Iga doing that much wrong.
But yeah, time to fight back. Rybakina doesn't make the first serve in the first point of the game, so already Swiatek, of course, is there trying to look for any advantage she can get out of it. I was not expecting this match to maybe be this long. I'm getting kind of hungry, but well, we are getting closer and closer to the end.
In the first set, where she almost lost 6 games in a row, was there anything particularly that stood out?
No, I mean, a lot of them were pretty close. Like, it wasn't that brutal, but it was mostly just Iga being dominated by the early aggression, the serve return, the flatter backhand cross-court, especially from Rybakina, and sort of to a point where, like, then if she got her own opportunities, then she was just a little nervous and started rushing it quite a lot. But there were a few close games in it too. Like, a virtual bagel was very possible, but it also would have been pretty hard.
Rybakina,
for example,
and then I think another game where it was 40-15. And it's broken.
So a virtual bagel there would have been pretty harsh, but obviously Rybakina was the better player during the set. She definitely deserved to win it as a whole.
But yeah, we'll see if maybe this service game Swiatek can get some traction. She did win the first point. Oh, and this time she tries to go for a backhand on the line winner on the second serve return.
Oh no. Jake entering the chat and saying that Fonseca is a prodigy. Please don't, not when Ghosty is around. Yesterday there was a big discussion. Never mind. Sean says that he's getting the vibe. This isn't the greatest match, but he's not watching it. And I think that vibe is pretty right. I mean, it's just so many short rallies, so many like very aggressive returns that either go in or don't. Then you have basically whoever gets the first strike wins as well. It gets kind of draining after a while. There's not that much spectacular shot making. There's not that much opening up the court in rallies and like getting the other player on the move or something. Like that's not really a part of it. But it's also because of the court. Like I think their match would be more entertaining in Paris or in Rome, but it would probably also be more one-sided.
Yeah. Or like Doha, that first set.
Yeah, that was so much better. First set in Doha was 100 times better than whatever we've seen so far. There is a breakpoint opportunity for Swiatek, but Rybakina is once again pretty smart with this soft dropper. I mean, she's forced into it because Iga barely gets the previous ball back. but she gets it across the net very well. She played a similar shot in the first set as well. I think it was one of the first games. How has my day been? Good. Woke up, watched some tennis, went for a run. Now I'm watching some tennis. And that's kind of been the whole day. Yeah. I mean, I'll have some work to do after this one, but it will be tennis too. So, the usual, I suppose.
Are you having fun with those media notes?
Yeah, it's okay. This month I'm doing Houston and Munich, and it's good money for the amount of time that I have to put in. So it also doesn't feel tedious, definitely not. So yeah, it's kind of like keeping the dream alive for me. So I am very grateful and trying not to lose that gig. I would like to have at least one more that's like, this profitable, because that would really give me like a sense of security. Whereas right now I don't really have it. But yeah, I have just one more day in Munich, I think, this month to do, which of course is going to be tomorrow. Rybakina again with the classics. I think especially in the first set, she was getting a lot of damage like this done. The out wide serve on the deuce court, and then instantly the forehand into the other direction. Classic clay court play, classic everywhere play really for someone like Rybakina. And maybe because her percentages, her serving is a little bit better in the third set, we're also seeing more of it. And she gets out of this game 4-2.
Oh, I'm so behind. Talking about the return and add in to go back to deuce.
Swiatek has made 7 double faults.
Overall, she's played really well this third set. Like, there's just not that much Iga has done wrong.
She is, yeah. Can't even meet me.
Iga's actually been very clutch. She saved 8 out of 9 break points. And like...
Yeah. She could have been like 1-5 down here and it wouldn't be weird.
Yeah.
But she keeps herself at least within touching distance. Of course, had a break point just now to...
Iga, it's so rare to play a 3-set match for Rybakina. It's like, oh, just another day in the office. Another 3-setter.
We checked how many times Iga played a third set tiebreak on the tour, and I'm pretty sure if we checked Rybakina, it would be 100.
Yeah. I mean, what is her match record this year? Like 24-4 or something, and probably like half of those are at least 3-setters.
Yeah, it's something like that. 24-4 indeed. And do you want to know how many are 3-setters out of the wins or out of the losses as well? So
I mean, she's only lost 1 3-setter, and that was to Blinkova.
Blinkova, yeah. So I think it's 10 wins in third sets.
So 10-1.
And honestly, at the very beginning, it wasn't like this, because the Blinkova match was actually her first 3-setter of the year. Then she played 2 in Abu Dhabi in 4 matches. Then she played 1 in 5 in Doha, 1 in Dubai. And then since Miami, she has only played 2 straight set matches, Miami and Stuttgart. So it's only really the last 2 weeks, well, not the last 2 weeks, because of course Miami was a few weeks back, but the last 2 events that have actually featured, a ridiculous amount of 3-setters for Rybakina.
Looks like
but yeah, she's only lost 1.
She improves her first serve noticeably. No, I think it's surface dependent, right? Like it's mostly just going to depend on the court profile. Because she can still beat Rybakina, but it's just...
I mean, Nurlan, she beat her in Doha.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? I mean, if they play Rome or Roland Garros, do you think that Rybakina is the favorite? I don't. If they play Stuttgart, now we're talking. I mean, it's slicker, it's faster. Why not?
Yeah. Of course, the Indian Wells matchup was very brutal last year. But that was also Iga kind of struggling physically with the rib, and also just, not in the best phase in terms of her confidence level.
Nurlan will not like the fact that you mentioned the rib. He said many times that he doesn't believe in that. But
she
withdrew out of Miami right after that, exactly. So
and Billie Jean King Cup too. So
that she probably was never going to play.
Let's just give her extra time to prepare for the clay and then come out firing in Stuttgart. Yeah, right now I would say Rybakina is the biggest rival for Iga outside of. Well, I mean, Ostapenko I can't really say is like a rival because they're just not playing that often. But in terms of consistent rivals, it has to be Rybakina. Is there a 2-year age gap between them? So just like Alcaraz and Sinner again, 2-year age gap. It's obviously very different, but.
Oh, and Jake, by the way, Muguruza is one of your favorite players, right? So, what is your reaction to the retirement of Harris that we've just seen? Should more women use a slice second serve instead of a kick? Surface dependent again. Like, I don't know if there's like a general pattern that you should use something more or not.
Tell you who does use one is Sorana Kirstein. She loves that serve. Of course, there was also Anna Ivanovic, who basically had to hit one because her ball toss was so far to the right on a lot of her serves.
Yeah.
You kind of have
Thick John, a couple of days ago, Anna Ivanovic asked like this question on Twitter or something like that. There was a poll, and John actually said something about her ball toss, which was pretty funny. I'll give that to him. It was decently funny for like in terms of the scale of John's jokes. It was pretty okay. I don't know if Anna appreciated it, but I kind of did.
In terms of the scale, yeah.
I just put your comment on the screen because I'm honestly not really sure what I can say to that, right? I remember that there's this one friend of mine who, like, in 1 year lost all 3 of his favorite players because they all retired in 1 year, and it was pretty funny. Well, funny, you know, from an outside perspective, but yeah.
Have you had any retirements of players that have made you emotional?
Federer.
Yeah, that would be the biggest for me as well.
Mostly. Karlovic never really retired, like, per se. I mean, you know, he announced his retirement 3 years after his last match, so I never really had that moment. I didn't care about, like, Radwanska retiring. That wasn't a big deal for me. So I guess I can only say Federer, really. I've been to some retirements like Matkowski or Przeciężny, but again, like that wasn't a big deal for me. João Souza in Estoril.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
Actually, I was never a big fan or anything, but it was nice. I mean, I did kind of get a little emotional. Tsonga, I remember when he had that Roland Garros ceremony, I did get a little emotional as well. But again, that wasn't because I was a big fan or anything. It was just a nice one, I guess. And for some reason, it struck a nerve. But yeah, other than Federer, I don't really think I've had one that was like really, you know, very important for me.
Yeah.
My goodness, and we are going to have one more breakpoint for Swiatek. This is a bit out of nowhere, as the first 2 points just seemed like Rybakina was going to cruise through this game. This match just kind of doesn't stop with all the twists and turns.
Or are you at
these breakpoints?
Okay, you might
I'm
be
right. right now I'm already at deuce because Rybakina barely put this second serve in after double faulting on the 30-all point, right? She barely puts her second serve in on the next one, and then Swiatek throws out the return. But yeah, this match just never kind of stops with all these missed breakpoint opportunities. I don't know if the quality has been high. In fact, I don't really think it's been, but
Who's in Muguruza's generation? Muguruza's in 93 or so. So, I don't know. Sloane Stephens, Danielle Collins. Oh, another error. So deuce. Yeah, there haven't been any, let's just say, highlight reel points in this match. Very, very few.
highlight reel?
It's been very much like 3 to 5 shot rallies have been very common.
Yeah. And all these missed breakpoints that eventually lead us to Elena Rybakina going 5-3 up. Second game in a row, Swiatek has a chance to recover that one break that she's losing by in the third set, and she doesn't do it.
Also probably Garcia as well. It's 93, so that's another player in that sort of generation, if you want to call it that. But there are others, of course, early 90s. You know, you have Halep, you have... I guess Azarenka's a little older, so maybe I wouldn't put her in that same generation. But, I mean, and then you also just have a lot of players in 1994, right? You have your Pegula, Alexandrova. Who else is 94? That's about it. I'm much better at memorizing the birth years for the ATP than I am the WTA. Yeah, so Rybakina does hold, but this is this service game. If you think Ego holds,
well, I've already seen 2 points, and let me tell you that my answer would be heavily impacted by them. So I can't really answer that anymore.
I can see it on the screen, unfortunately. I'll just watch the points. It's just crazy how many easy short points Rybakina wins compared to Iga. Yeah, that's where Rybakina has that big edge, you know. Serve return, but mostly the serve.
Yeah, mostly the serve. I agree. It is still like it has to be serve return. We can't just say it's only serve difference, because obviously if you have a weaker serve, your opponent is also gonna pounce on it. But yeah, it's mostly the first component.
Mm-hmm. This is definitely a pretty rough matchup for her for that reason.
Yeah. And all of these rough matchups for her, like that's kind of the main thing about them. Alexandrova, Garcia, less so Ostapenko maybe because her own serve isn't that amazing, but that return component is actually the most important.
I'm going to switch to a different screen or a different tab so that I don't see the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Because I kind of don't want it to spoil my next, given that I am 2 points behind you.
Hopefully I won't say anything. Oh, that was a Nurlan comment that you read about. It is just crazy how many easy short points Ryba wins compared to Iga. I thought it was something you said, so that's actually kind of a good one for Nurlan, because I assumed that it was you who said it, and I was like, that's reasonable. So that means that Nurlan has said something reasonable. No, but that's good for Nurlan.
I was just reading it.
We checked out an opinion from Nurlan that was reasonable. And because I couldn't see that it was Nurlan who said it, I agreed with it. So maybe it's just all prejudices,
So it is match point.
Maybe a few more Talking Tennis streams and I'll start really agreeing with Nurlan on everything, from the geopolitical situation in the world to Jessica Pegula, Marie Buskova, and Katie Volinets.
It's very random. Second serve and match point. Let's see what sort of return is coming here. Oh, she just misses that one bite. And did you have the same thought I had when Iga threw up that ball toss and had to catch it?
Not really, actually. But this game just feels like whenever Rybakina puts the return in, she wins the point, right? I mean, did she miss 3 returns already? I think so, right?
Yeah. 3 returns.
Yeah, so Rybakina's percentages on serve in this set are 66% again. So that's kind of like really been the main thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This time Swiatek makes the first serve, but it really doesn't do anything for her.
Yeah, and
second serve doesn't really matter right now.
By the way, like I kind of think that as the match went on, like the last 5 minutes, like if I'm seeing any signs of fatigue for either player, it's kind of for Swiatek actually, which is surprising. But at the same time, well, she doesn't play any long matches ever.
Yeah, she's not used to playing 2 hours and 15 minutes. And that ball sails long, and so Rybakina is in the final. I have to say, she played a very good third set. It was so strong. And it was mostly dependent on her level. In terms of the first serve percentage, also taking control of more points from the middle of the court, saving break points of her own in 2 separate service games. And yeah, she gets the job done. Any other sort of conclusions?
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Any other bigger conclusions?
Yeah. Not really. I mean, I was expecting this one to be potentially troubling. It's a slicker, faster clay surface. Always seemed weird to me that this would be one of Iga's most successful clay events, but of course, it's only been her 3rd appearance, so it might not hold up in the future. Who knows? Especially if the fields are as good as they have been, basically. All in all, the match, I mean, I'm slightly disappointed, but not really with the quality in itself, but maybe more so with how the matchup looked on this court. And just how much was done on serve return, five shots tops in the rally. I think the first serve percentage for Rybakina was like the biggest, a major aspect of this, like also the difference maker between sets 1, 2, and 3, because we saw how much more on the front foot Swiatek was in the second set on return, how she was able to start really pushing for that break and eventually get it done. Whereas the other sets, even if she was still getting some chances, well, it was just so much harder for her to create anything. In fact, I at the very beginning, I didn't really spot it, because I remember a few big first serve returns in the second set as well, like even of the first serve. And I was like, okay, so she has just upped her aggression really on return, and that's kind of working out for her. But then when you look at the percentages, it's just pretty clear that she also had more freedom to potentially attack Rybakina. Third set, many missed chances for Swiatek to get back, but also many chances that she saved. Kind of the one thing that was always the saving grace we mentioned, the backhand down the line. That was fabulous. All in all, I mean, the most important event of the clay season is obviously the French Open, and this is not a horrible loss for her, sort of thinking of that for the future, as obviously the way the courts play in Stuttgart or even in Madrid have very little to do with Paris.
Yeah. And like you said, this has been a very successful tournament for her, but it always kind of felt like, based on what we know about her, it shouldn't really be, and that we maybe thought it wouldn't continue forever, and so that proved to be the case today against, if you look at Stuttgart throughout the years, it's usually always favored, players like Kvitova and like flatter type hitters who are just taking the ball out of your hand, and you have to just be able to withstand that barrage on the first 3 to 5 shots. But Rybakina, even in the first set, like her backhand cross court was so good, the way she was just with such low net clearance and just hitting it with such precision. I felt like there were some chances for Iga, both especially in the first set, to really extend her lead, but once she didn't take those, it became very hard for her to come back in that set. And when she wins the first set, that's when you start to see that you see so many players like just come out and overwhelmed by that aggression that Swiatek brings in the beginning of the match, but Rybakina was just so calm and it never really fazed her. So yeah, but I'm very interested to see what happens if they play in Rome or Roland Garros.
Yeah, I would still say that Iga would be the favorite, but it's been a troublesome matchup. Definitely over the years, it's only gonna be well, I don't know if it's only gonna be tougher, but it's certainly time and time again, Rybakina just proves to us that she can do it. Iga maintained her status as like the woman to beat in Doha on slower hard courts, on like very spin friendly hard courts as well. Whereas on faster clay conditions, she kind of doesn't have that status at the moment, I guess. Not at least not against Rybakina, maybe even not against Sabalenka, as the last match they played in Madrid, of course, was a loss. But yeah, again, does that mean a lot for the French? I don't really think so. But it would be good, of course, for Iga if she won at least one warm-up event ahead of Paris, gave her rhythm, gave herself rhythm, gave herself confidence. And now she only has 2 more chances to do it, either Madrid or Rome. Any thoughts about the semifinal, and also Rybakina's the next semifinal, and also Rybakina's chances tomorrow?
Yeah, Rybakina probably goes into the match as a favorite. I can't say that it will be an easy match for her, because most of the times she does sort of have these random dips, and even the match sort of depends on her first serve and also her sort of dominance in the first few shots of the rally. But if she does play like a Kostyuk, I wonder if actually that'll be competitive. Now I'm eating my words a little bit, because Kostyuk has played so many long matches, so for her this week, she might just hit a wall physically. Of course, she's been like a pretty big story this week, but like if she were to play Vondrousova, that would also be kind of an interesting matchup, given some of the tactics that Vondrousova was able to use in that match against Sabalenka. I wonder if that'll actually. I don't know how that would play out against Rybakina. Like the block returns, the really good defense, the variety. So yeah, it should be interesting either way, but definitely Rybakina goes into it as a pretty clear favorite for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think she's probably going to take 3 sets to win it, but likely win it if the last few weeks have told us anything. And someone just made me laugh because I put out this tweet about Swiatek and Rune earlier, and I think you also saw it because I think you quote tweeted it or commented or something. And then after Iga lost, someone says both in the semis, still a parallel maybe. Well, yeah, both lost in the semis today. Both were kind of unexpected, but of course maybe even less so in Iga's case. Nurlan, is it really slow? I mean, it's not. If these conditions look slow to you, yeah, I don't think so. Anything else we need to talk about here? There's some discussion about women's basketball, which I don't know anything about, but I know that they've been sort of hyping it up and that it's getting very nice numbers now.
Yeah, the ratings have been really good.
And I guess that's kind of it then. John says that we should finish off the stream ourselves. So that's precisely what we are going to do. Thank you everyone who watched this with us, and thank you Vansh as well. Congrats to Elena Rybakina, who's in the final. She might pick up third WTA 500 title of the season. And well, she gives Iga Swiatek her 4th loss of the year. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Is there any other stream actually lined up? That's pretty important that I check that now. But
I think someone is doing the photos.
Oh yeah, you're right. There's gonna be a team doing Wondroushova Kostyuk, so actually that's why we're gonna wrap up now as well, because someone is gonna be doing the second semi Wondroushova Kostyuk very soon. The Marta Keta, as someone called it. Anyway, yeah. Once again, thank you, and we'll see you.
Yep. See ya.